Board games, board games. We might be talking with you. Board games of the person known as Finchy. Josie is the one over there with the amazing coloured hair. And I've never seen Josie's underwear. That's really odd, and please don't stare as I come up with these terrible rhymes. This sort of embarrassing stuff comes out all the time. Hello, good morning, good afternoon, good whatever it is, wherever you are. It's time for Busy Beats and Board Game Leather. And
I wasn't expecting my underwear to be mentioned this morning, but thanks, Bez.
Well, all I'm saying is I've never seen your underwear. That's like kind of establishing boundaries. I'm not saying that there would be massive. I'm not saying that. Say, I cannot see you in your underwear.
No, but you haven't seen me in my underwear. That's
like we are establishing our relationship. We are friends, and we've kind of been some. Would you call us? I mean, it's not exactly co-working. It's like this sort of volunteer relationship. How would you describe that? And just to introduce, I've not introduced the topic. 981. And which means there's 19 days left to go until my amazing 1000th episode, which will have like 20 plus amazing guests and a new person every 20 minutes, basically, until the very end, where the last person will stay on for an hour and then we'll kind of carry on talking to Annabelle Holland and Elizabeth Hargrave at the very end. But yes, they're the final guests. And today I am going to teach Josie photosynthesis. I put it up on a Twitter poll, what should we play? And 75% of the people wanted to see my expert advice on photosynthesis.
Perfect. And you better do some expert advice then.
25% wanted to see couple, I presume, because I know it well, because I designed it. And first of all...
I was going to say, did you vote on your own poll, first of all?
No, you can't.
Okay, that's okay.
You cannot vote on your own poll.
Okay, because I also didn't vote on it because I knew I was involved. So I saw it and I thought, I'm not.
You could have voted on like.
I know, I could have, but I didn't.
What did you want to do? Were you hoping for something?
No, I wasn't, and I just thought I'll leave it to the fates of Twitter to decide.
And so, photosynthesis is a game that I've played about, let's say, 4 times in real life. And the first time I played it, I don't know what it is. I'm going to sound quite arrogant, but I'm fairly good at spatial awareness, and I've played a lot of games, and it's kind of...
Have you?
Yeah, but I'm not great at everything. Like a lot of things I'll play, and then the first time I'll do disastrously. I'm not saying that I'm brilliant at everything, but for whatever reason, this twigged with me, and I found it intensely satisfying, photosynthesis, because thinking very much about the way the sun's shining, not just from this turn where it's coming here, but then the next turn and then the following turn, it makes me feel like I need to slow down and think of the future. I mean, I know trees maybe don't have minds and brains in the same way that animals and stuff do, but I think that it made me feel like I was enjoying that slow growth. And also the general fact that you need to do the seed, then you need to wait a turn before you grow it, and then you wait a turn before you grow it into a medium tree, then you wait a turn before you grow it into a big tree, and then at some point, the big tree dies, which is kind of sad. But that's how you get...
So you've been channeling your tree.
I feel like the game is kind of telling you to slow down and be like a tree.
Okay, so if you were going to be a tree, which tree would it be, Bez?
I like to think it would be like a weeping willow. Sorry, let me expand the thing.
Okay.
A weeping willow with the hanging stuff, and then like shading people, and like people would come around me maybe.
Okay.
Yeah. What would you be if you were a tree?
I think I'd be something slow growing. So maybe maybe an oak. That's very British and quite a standard answer, and I'd rather not be like boring, obvious answer. But no, I think I'd be a horse chestnut because you get to be a little bit mad with their conkers afterwards. Hi, Jess.
Is this your friend, Jess?
This is my friend, yes.
Hello, Jess. We're going to meet on Sunday, I believe.
That's tomorrow.
Yes, that's tomorrow. I could have just said tomorrow. Yeah, I'm way behind. But let's talk about. Oh yeah, so photosynthesis. Just to introduce the topic, it's a game I fell in love with. I did fairly well. It does have some problems. I'm not going to lie. I
Yep.
think that the board bit, I feel it's slightly more complicated than it needs to be, because you need to pay to take things off the board and then you need to pay again to plant them. And this two-step structure, I've seen in real life so many people getting slightly confused by that. It feels like an unnecessary complication. There is a mathematical game there, but for me, the far more interesting game is the game of blocking and getting in the way of other people's lights and making sure that you're not in the way of your own light and thinking about the rates at which you're growing. And that's much more interesting. And I wish that more people were able to access that. I did send Halmar Hach a Board Game Geek mail to say, hey, would you be willing to consider maybe working together on something? But they've not gotten back to me. I don't know if they've seen it even.
Maybe they haven't seen it.
Yeah, I'm sure that photosynthesis is doing fairly well. So maybe they're like, you know what, I'd probably rather just leave well enough alone. And if this person, but like, I think it would be nice to completely redesign it, because they did make a sequel, but in the sequel, you don't have the interaction. You're all playing on your own boards, which...
Oh, okay.
But yeah, it's a lovely game, and for whatever reason, I'm still undefeated at two-player photosynthesis. I have been beaten at three-player photosynthesis, which I will say is a slightly different thing, because you can be trapped by two players, and then you feel like maybe it's kind of because of the player chaos. But I did play a tournament with, I think, 32 people, and they came out first. And then I've joined another tournament for just after UK Games Expo, and it's like 45 people minimum, so there's already 43 people registered, so we'll see how I go in that, or if I will maintain my undefeated streak. But yes, I've got some strategy tips, and hopefully I will get you up to scratch, so you can, even if you can't beat me, you'll go and beat anyone else as a
I'll beat everybody other than Bez, yeah?
Yes.
All right. We'll see. We'll put it to the test. Somebody has to then, challenge me to a game to see if that's true afterwards.
Yes, absolutely. But let's take a step back and talk about recent highlights, living life and seeing the sights, recent highlights, playing games and other delights, recent highlights. What was the last game that you played?
Ooh.
And this question goes out not just to Josie, but to everyone watching. Literally, what was the last game that you played?
So D&D, but then physical board game was probably actually Get Bit, I think was the last
D&D, wouldn't you have played that at the start of the week?
Yeah, I know. I haven't played any board games this week.
Oh.
I didn't go to board games last night. I went to the Buddhist Center and had a meditation. I needed a bit of grounding and a bit of whatever. So I went and did that instead. So yeah, so D&D, but then before that, I think Get Bit. I am really having a moment of, have I played another board game in between that I've blanked? Which I don't think I have. I think the last one was Get Bit.
So not even anything online?
Yeah, I finished it. I haven't really, I've been really busy. So I've not, I've been playing Battle Sheep, but that's been really slow going. At the moment, we're literally just laying out the tiles for the game.
That's a solid game. I think that's also by Blue Orange Games, the same publisher of this. I can't remember who designed it. I don't know if you can remember the designer.
No, I don't actually have a physical copy. I'd love it. Have you got a physical copy you're going to sell?
I do have a physical copy. I will be getting rid of it.
How do you have a physical copy? I know you're getting rid of all your games.
And Battle Sheep, for me, it's quite similar to Hey That's My Fish. If people don't know it, I think that it's worth mentioning Hey That's My Fish. Although I think in this instance, it is a case of parallel design. I don't think it's... I'm not saying it's...
It's a different game. It definitely plays differently to Hey That's My Fish.
It's a very similar feel. Yeah. Because you're still moving around. And whereas Hey That's My Fish, you're blocking people by removing tiles, in Battle Sheep, you're blocking people by leaving behind your sheep. And I think that battle sheet, for me, I slightly prefer it just because,
Yeah.
you know, the variable setup, it's faster to set up, and the extra complication of how many sheep do you leave behind on a given space, to me, is marginally more interesting than the extra complication plus extra time taken to have all the different numbers on the board, if you know what I
Yeah,
mean.
I quite like the fact that you're trying to plan somebody else's strategy by how many sheep they've left behind as well.
Mhm. Yeah, battle sheep's brilliant, and yeah, I got rid of Haydat's my fish at a certain point. And Jess says, I will challenge you to a game of photosynthesis after this.
Okay,
So
fab. Thanks, Jess.
that sounds good. And so you'll both be listening to my advice, so we'll see how that gets on.
Yeah, Jess, untuned. Go away. Stop listening.
No, don't go away. Don't go away. Listen. As for recent highlights, I shared this because this was actually last Friday that I started doing the final letter shapes. And now, actually, I should get rid of this just for a moment so that I can categorical show my... It's been a long time coming, but
I know, but the designs are really good, Bez. You've been sharing them in our group, and I've really been enjoying your games. You know,
thank you very much.
Yeah, they're really
I'm going
nice.
to show the Kickstarter update that I made the same night that Jack sent me all the stuff. And yeah, there's nothing confidential on this screen. So that is... oh, I can actually just delete that. I mean, get rid of that window. This is the photo of all my letter shapes, plus some trial A's. Those A's were kind of my color things, but as you can see for the final things, I focused more on getting a bit more energy. I also colored them all at the same time, so they've got exactly the same quality of paints going on. Then Jack scanned them in, and I'm really happy with this, where you can sort of see the front is kind of bubbly and spotsy, and then the back is kind of stripy, and I like that energy. I'm not going to say anything more about it. Someone did say that maybe the back should be slightly fainter just to make it slightly more readable. What do you think?
I think it's hard to tell without actually seeing a physical copy because you don't know what it's going to come out like. I think on there they're fine, but then if there isn't that much different definition once they're printed, then that might be an issue.
Like someone was just saying that with that as an image, they were finding it hard to focus, and it might just be that the categorical deck might not be for them. And I know this sounds really
maybe the traditional world deck would be better,
standoffish, but like I am going to be reprinting the original deck at the same time, and out of respect to backers, I'm not going to have many copies of categorical at all. I'm probably going to have about 10 or so for reviewers, a bunch for the people who help me, and maybe 10 or 20 for sale, I don't know. But it will mainly be about the original deck. And hey, the categorical deck, once we send it all off to backers, given that it is 2 years overdue, I really don't think I should be selling it to other people first.
No, it needs to go to the backers first. Definitely backers first.
But people will be able to buy the original deck, and you will be able to see it at UK Games Expo, even if you can't actually buy it.
Will it be ready for UK Games Expo?
Yes.
So people could collect it from UK Games Expo?
Yes, 100%.
Okay.
If you've backed it and you're going to UK Games Expo, I do need to sort out some legal, what's the word I'm looking for, identity stuff with Kickstarter to get backer information again, because after I think it like 2 years they shut you off and say you need to show us your passports and everything again.
Oh, okay.
Show that you're still you, which is kind of annoying because there's a lot of Kickstarter projects that take more than that amount of time to deliver.
Yeah, there are.
But yeah, most people. Anyway, so then there were these card backs that Jack said, oh, I'm not sure this looks good, but I actually really like just the blur of the red. And then there is a 6th suit, which Jack forgot to put on, but people felt like this is the best one. And this is basically just all the card backs overlaid on top of each other. So when I say the card backs, what I actually meant is the faint pattern that you see here, if you see what I mean.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that's what's going on. The other thing that I did recently was, as always, yesterday I went to playtest. This is Doric's game, a lovely cooperative one versus many. It's a trick-taking game, but then the winner of the trick determines which suits of cards determines how the person moves. It's a lovely idea, and one person's got enemies to try to defeat everyone, and there's new enemies in like some levels, so it's really interesting. And yeah, Doric had made these lovely.
I was going to say, what are they? What are those little and eyes?
They're ghosts.
Okay.
And yeah, that's Doric's.
Oh, there they are.
We played Questable, which I'm really loving. Kirsten and I designed like 60 new things. Hello, Alex. It's lovely to see you.
Morning,
Just doing a quick recap of what we've been up to recently. Feel free to share your own things. And this is Doric's game. This is a lovely, from a first-time newcomer, not for, well, they are an unpublished designer, but they've been to other groups, and their production quality was off the charts, and they admitted, yes, my production quality is ridiculous. I know that I'm going to have to rip all of this up and cry while doing it. So, yeah, they've got like tile placements games, and this is Simon's game where it's hidden identity or thinking about what to do. Ellie Dick's playing Alan's game, which is all about poses and people trying to think who you are. In this, can you guess who Ellie was trying to impersonate? It's a sort of career or occupation.
It's a career or occupation?
Yes. Who is like in the...
So what career or occupation is that?
Yes.
Is that what you're asking me? Okay.
Yes. It's like charades, but you only get to do a pose.
Okay. She looks very happy and she's looking up to the sky or whatever's above her, and it looks celebratory. Kate Winslet. I'm just
on the Titanic, I can totally see that.
Yeah, I can see that too. But it's a career,
nautically themed.
Like a praise the Lord. Maybe she's a preacher.
No, she is a gymnast. Oh, Alex just got it just before I said it.
Oh, well done, Alex. Well done.
And then
that's my kind of game. I'd like that game.
This is Ellie's game about putting books together, and this is Ellie's photo. You can tell it's me in the background, and this is me. I can't remember what pose this was, but this is what's me also doing a pose. And yeah, at the start, we also played a new auction game from me. It's not going to be like ready anytime soon. I called it, and this name's going to totally change because the game's going to totally change. But it was called a game about relatively simple economics and auctions. And I wanted to make, because the game about auctioning cubes after winning an auction to become the auctioneer, it is relatively simple, but it didn't feel like the absolute simplest auction game I could make. I wanted to see what's the absolute simplest auction game I could make, and why is that terrible? And I had a really nice morning of realizing in the shower and then while cycling, whilst the simplest possible things would be terrible. And then I tried to do something one step up from that, which was slightly less terrible than the first idea I had, or the second idea that I had, or indeed the first 10 ideas that I had. But then it was like a game where you're auctioning things, and then if you pass, you get money, so some money comes back into the game. But then the value of something is determined by how many of it are thrown out, if you know what I mean. So if there are 4 red triangles in the kind of stock market area, then every red triangle in front of you is worth 4. But if there's only 2, then you could have 5 and they're still only worth 10, there were some major problems. Not enough stuff was being won. It was a little bit slow. And then we played a second time with some mate. I asked everyone to say all the things they hated about it, which is like a good, because I know it was a terrible game. For me, that first edition, I'm not comparing it to a prototype. Like for a prototype, yeah, it's fine. It's allowed to be terrible. But if it was published, I'd give it 2 out of 10. Whereas the second played version, much better, 3.5 out of 10 at least. And then it was a little bit faster, but now I'm thinking, that's still not a great game, and I understand why you can't have like a sort of platonic, ideal, simplest auction game. I'm not sure that that really exists. But what I would like to do is maybe use some of the ideas that I had and add special powers in them and more hidden information and make a game where the once around auction pushes you to do a little bit of push your luck, so that at the start you're like, okay, do I bid or do I just pass and take a little bit of money? But then if I bid, then everyone who's bid gets something unless the stuff in the middle runs out, because the people who pass, chuck something out in the middle. So it's kind of, how much do I pass? Like having that delicious tension of it's only going to go once round.
Mm-hmm.
So some people were like, yeah, this is not really an auction because it's a very gamey thing, once around auctions. Even though it's faster, it doesn't feel like an auction. So I have to remove that word from it, even though it is, as board game designers would call it, a once around auction. But yeah, obviously inspired very heavily by my recent in-depth chats
Auction
with
game as well.
Alan Paul. But yeah, so this might be the start of Bez's auction game period.
This is like, the auction game series. If we're on to number 2, like this could be a whole series of games.
But yes, that is me, and yes, I've been playing a few bits of photosynthesis. Speaking of which, would you say that trees are a brilliant thing? They're a little thing which is brilliant.
Absolutely. Trees are very brilliant.
I mean, they create oxygen.
Yeah, they do.
I mean, well, they don't really create it. They release it like from the carbon dioxide. Like they take out the carbon and then they shoot back the oxygen. Like,
they shoot it back.
Yeah.
Out of the leaves.
Hello, Mike. Hope you're generally well. So we're talking about trees. Why are trees brilliant? Let's have some other reasons. Provide shades. That's brilliant. Like my weeping willow, I would totally be the weeping willow.
And they're homes to many animals.
That's as good. And trees are nice to look at.
Yeah,
and I find them aesthetically pleasing, especially the light coming through the translucent leaves. That's one of my favorite sights.
Yeah, and some of them you can harvest poison from to kill people. Always a good thing.
I mean, some trees provide lovely fruits that you can eat.
Obviously, you can cut them down. Don't recommend cutting down trees, but you can cut them down to create houses and, heat and all those kind of things as well.
You know what? Even though you do get some trees that are very slow growing, you do get, when we talk about cutting down stuff like the FSC certified stuff, like it's really good when you've got trees that are dedicated to like growing fast and being awesome. Good trees.
We like trees.
Yeah.
And you obviously can bring them in at Christmas.
And
decorate them.
They are a good topic for a game, like as shown in photosynthesis.
Oh, look, here's a segue into photosynthesis.
And Mike wants to say the cats, and I love looking out at the trees to see the birds in them. Yes.
Yeah.
They've got nests. They provide a safe haven, like off the ground, so that maybe foxes can't get at them.
And do your cats do that nice clicking sound at the birds in the trees that they're thinking about going to eat? Because mine do.
And Alex says that at some point in the future, we might need to have a game about bidding to decide which of Bez's bidding games to play.
I think, actually, after your auction series, that should be the final auction series game, Bez. You design yourself.
If you say this is the final one, I don't like that. I don't like saying this is the final of anything, even though we do need to learn to deal with this. Like, this is going to be the final ever 29th of April 2023. I mean, it's also the first ever 29th of April 2023, but it is the final ever one as well.
Well, unless we get stuck in a Groundhog Day and we just go round and round and round.
Would you like to be in a Groundhog Day? I mean, it does mean that you
if you never age
without growing older. That's
if you never age and you get to read everything, you get to remember everything. Like, you're not just one of these the non-player character kind of things that are just doing it over and over. That could be quite good, but then it would get lonely because you'd never be able to grow any conversations, would you?
But yeah, it would. I mean, there would be something kind of gross about, hey, I get to learn so much about you, and now I know, like, some of those bits that Bill Murray does are
Oh
really
yeah, it is a little dodgy now. It really hasn't aged well, has it?
Well, I mean, even at the time, it's like kind of manipulating people. Although, you know what, that yeah, I
I
don't
don't
know.
think it. I think of its time, people didn't think about manipulation the same way as they think about it now. I don't think
Yeah,
people are
people are
as
more
aware.
mindful, which I think is a
Yeah,
good thing.
yeah.
And Mike wants to say, swishing tail from the cat when he sees a bird he wants to play with. Is that play or?
Yeah, they're so funny, aren't they? They do make me laugh.
But yes, talking about brilliant things. I mean, I'm a
That
brilliant
face.
But games in progress.
I have accepted. I've accepted.
There we go.
Mine is the first move. Apparently, let me just get it up on my screen.
Okay, so photosynthesis, and as always, we've just talked about trees. At this point, I do want to invite everyone to please comment, ask questions from like follow, and yeah, with an introduction that's been like 26 minutes long, and we have chosen to play the long game. This might not be the shortest episode, but we'll crack on
Yeah, we'll crack on.
We finish in the morning. So the first move, you know, I believe that there's no better move than the one on the right. You want to click on the right, on this place where my can you see my cursor?
No, I wasn't looking. Yeah, that's where I was thinking of placing a tree. Oh, I put it in front of you.
Nice
Okay,
work.
all right.
Because the whole idea is that in the corners you get more light. Like all around the outside you get more light. But you know, at the start you can only place on the outside. What's going to happen is first player places one, then second player, and if they were more, then third and fourth. And then first player places again, then second and so forth.
So can
and
I place a tree to start? I don't have to place
well,
an
you
acorn.
just place a small tree. We are just doing some initial placement. And then once everyone has placed 2 trees, then we get started, and then we actually get our first light income, and then we start off properly. So what's happening here, just to explain why this is so brilliant, is because in the first turn in the corner, you are guaranteed anything on this side. You are guaranteed to get light, anything on these 2 sides. But then on second turn, when it's coming in from this side, anything on these 2 sides is absolutely guaranteed to get light. And then on the third turn, anything on these 2 sides. So you can see on the corners, you are guaranteed to get light for 3 turns. Whereas on the sides, you're only guaranteed it for 2 turns. You could be blocked. And this is the only one place where you're guaranteed for the first 3 turns. And whilst that does mean, is photosynthesis a no-luck abstract game? Yes, it is. It is a combinatorial game. There is no luck. And it is a perfect information game, 100%.
And Bez does love a perfect information game.
Now, this is where, like, after the first turn, I'm honestly not sure. Sometimes I feel like, you know, previously I thought about going up here in this corner. But the nice thing about going on the sides is if you grow your tree to be a little bit bigger, then you can move 2 away. And then if you do it in a knight's move, then you're not going to be blocking yourself, if that makes sense. Because if you shoot your seeds, boom, boom, like that, in a straight line, then you would be blocking yourself later on, potentially. But if you go boom, boom, then those 2 things that are in a diagonal from each other will never block each other, which is why doing that from a medium tree is such a brilliant thing to do.
So really you want to be going diagonals?
Well, not like diagonals along the straight lines on the hexes, but yeah, through the little triangles, if you know what I mean.
Yeah. Okay.
So I am going to go on this side, because on this side I'm guaranteed to get light for the first 2 turns, which is still pretty good. And I'm hoping that if you were to go on this corner just to be a jerk and block me,
that's what I was planning on doing,
be a jerk flippantly, then I could go beside you to block you preemptively. So I'm going to go there, because if you block me, I'll block you and retaliate. So you could block me and go in the corner, because I've never played with someone doing that. So, But remember, if you go on the side, that will give you more emphasis of what to do. The key thing to remember is don't go somewhere that doesn't block me and can be blocked easily. So if that makes sense. Where are you thinking of going?
Well, I was thinking of going in that. Oh, you can't see my cursor. There's no point in me doing my cursor because you can't see it. I was
I mean, you could share your
no,
screen.
no, it's absolutely fine. I was thinking of going in the bottom corner, as you'd just said. That's where I was thinking before you placed your thing. But now you've said, but then you block me. Now I'm like, well, you're already that whole move in front of me. So
If you block me and I block you, then it's kind of like we've still got one each. So you're bringing us both down. So it's not like, so you're just playing an aggressive game and it's going to be slightly lower scoring, but it's not necessarily a bad move. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, but then if it went in the other
I
bottom
agree,
corner,
Alex, by the way, about the shadows being on the screen.
yeah, that is nice on the screen. It does help with the visualization, doesn't it? I wish there was a way you could place trees and it not be instantaneous, though. Like I'd like a, just a moment to think kind of thing. I was also thinking the bottom right corner, but then I will eventually.
If you go to bottom right corner, I would go just above you, because then I'm blocking you in turn one, and turn one is your critical moment. Because turn one, if you get 2 light, which you'll only get if both of your trees are in the light, then you can grow one of them to be medium. And that's quite a nice, tasty thing, which can then start spawning seeds further away where they don't, they're never at risk of blocking each other. Mike says you can click on the chat box and move mouse cursor for the other players. Alex says take the corners.
Okay. Alex, which corner do you want me to take? What do you think? Should I go bottom?
I mean, if you're definitely taking a corner, I would say
the corner we've already discussed.
Top right would be
take them all. Yes, take them all.
The top right does guarantee you light for the first 2 turns, but I can block you in turn 3 by going just underneath, but then you can block me by growing your 1 just underneath that. And so that might be an interesting move. But I would actually posit that going just underneath me here would be totally viable. I mean, it is aggressive, but frankly, you want to be aggressive. Alex suggests top right, but it's up to you. I mean, do you feel like you want to make it aggressive and interesting, or do you want to be like, yeah, I'll go my own way? Okay. So you are threatening to...
I'm not threatening at all.
Well, there is an implicit threat that if this tree grows to be too big, because with a small...
I might never grow that tree. Maybe I'll just keep that tree as a little baby tree. So there's no threat in there ever.
Innocent, and
yeah,
you never
absolutely.
Try to win a game.
It's just a little baby tree. It's a little sapling. Don't be picking on my saplings.
On the bottom left, like if that were to grow, so a small tree only casts 1 shadow and gains 1 light. Medium tree casts 2 shadows and gains 2 light.
Yeah.
Big trees cast 3 shadows and gain 3 lights. And obviously, you're only shaded by trees of an equal or bigger size, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
So I am going to go over here just to shade your tree, and we both get 2 light points to start off with.
Talk about being threatening and aggressive, and then you go and do that.
Well, I was the one who encouraged it, so I did totally tell you.
Right, it now says I can spend up to 2 light points. What does that mean?
This is where it actually allows you to do the thing. So you can use light either to take stuff off your board, which, oh, cool, it gave me my preferred color. Sometimes it doesn't, presumably because other people also want to be red. What's your favorite color, Josie?
On Board Game Arena, it's pink.
Okay, so red isn't in your top, like, 2.
No, it is in my top, but it's not my top 1. I think I've got pink, then purple, then orange, and then maybe red.
I think I've got red, then purple, then something else. I can't remember. Anyway, so you could buy stuff off this board here that you seem a kind of going ground, but don't do that. I wouldn't recommend it.
Okay.
What you can also do, is you can, with the long game, I just realized, because I normally play the not standard game, you get 4 small trees to start. So you already have 2 seeds
Yeah.
and 4 small trees and 1 medium tree.
Yes.
So on the first turn, with your 2 light points, there's basically only 2 options, broadly speaking. You can either shoot 2 seeds away, which means that your seeds will be able to be thrown 1 space away. Remember, small trees throw it 1 space, medium trees throw it 2 spaces, big trees throw it 3 spaces. It's a nice,
so they throw it the same amount of shadow as they do.
Exactly.
Okay.
It's nice and, intuitive.
Yep.
But obviously, if you're only throwing it 1 space away, that means that you need to be really mindful and careful so you don't end up blocking yourself. The other thing that you could do is grow one of your trees to be too big. I mean, when I mean too big, I mean like 2 the number, like a medium, as opposed to 1 big or 2 big or 3 big.
Yeah. All right. The next size up. Yeah.
Yes, exactly. And you are only allowed to interact with trees that are not in shade. I have launched you straight into the hard shadow mode as opposed to the easy shadow mode. Hard shadow, which to me gives you the proper feeling of the game. It's all about being shaded, and this is all about, if you're shaded, that's it. You just can't do anything with it. So if you were to grow one of your trees to be too big, then, well, actually, sorry, I'm over telling you. And Mike says, poor little baby tree.
Yeah, so, I know. I feel like Bez is going to completely and utterly block the shade of my tree there, aren't they? And anybody else feeling that threat as much as I am?
If you block, I mean, what do you think you want to do? Do you want to do some growing of seeds, or do you want to do some growing of your trees?
I'm contemplating growing the threatened tree in the bottom to be medium.
Yeah, that would be a good idea. I would, just to let you know, grow the one to the right of that.
I know that.
But then you do get to shade the tree just to the left of that.
But I did think if I grew that, then at least I'd still get light, whereas I'm going to be blocked otherwise, aren't I?
You're not going to get light because I'm going to throw shade.
Oh, because you're going to throw shade, yeah.
Yeah,
I know. Bez is throwing shade, isn't she? Yeah, I know. Terrible. Yeah, I think I'll grow. So how does one do this? Does one just press on it? Oh, yes, press on it. Okay, yep, found that.
And then you confirmed it. So for some reason on this implementation, it doesn't have takesy backsies in the setup, but it does on your turn.
Okay, so when you they obviously can't see my screen, but when I've pressed on my tree, it says I have a 2, and then I have options of acorns as well. Do I want to grow it, or do I want acorns? What are people thinking? Anybody else want to come in there? Anybody else think that growing it's a good idea, or do they think that I should?
And the important thing to remember is, like, the light is going to be going this way along, if that makes sense. So from right to left next turn. Yeah. So if you were to throw an acorn up, then that acorn would be still something you can interact with. And potentially you could grow a little tree just underneath me and still block me next turn. It is an arms race.
It is an arms race.
I mean, that feels like it needs a pun, like a branch race. I am expanding my branches. No, that's a terrible pun.
It was a terrible pun.
Yeah, I mean, it's not even like a good terrible where I'm reaching. It's just a terrible pun that makes absolutely no sense.
So I've put one acorn out. Is it worth putting another? Yeah. Ooh. Is it worth putting another acorn out, or in the top with the top tree?
Next turn, as it currently stands, you'll only be getting 1 light.
Yeah.
So with your 1 light, presumably you're going to be wanting to grow that tree, because remember.
So yeah. So cancel it.
I would. I would personally leave it and then leave me guessing. That's what I would do. But and so now it's my turn. I don't have to grow to shade Josie.
She's already throwing shade on me in a minute. Terrible. Yeah.
But I'm already going to be throwing shade with this one tree, which does then mean that I can grow this one into a 2, which and end the turn here. So now this tree, as you can see, it's got 2 little lines. Obviously, they don't have that in the proper game.
Have you got the game to hand?
How far away the proper game is from me? Oh, it's about 30 sec. Like, I'm not. Should I grab the proper game?
Go on, go get the game. I can talk to chat. Right, everybody, give me ideas on what to do. We need to beat Bez. Come on.
So I do love this game, and yeah, this is.
It is a very beautiful game.
It is. Sabrina Miramon is a wonderful artist, and the thing is, Sabrina Miramon is best known for doing like lovely characters and humans, but like just the visuals.
Oh no, that is so lovely. It really is.
And then with the tree, I'm just going to show some of the. So you've got these standees, and this is, I think that's a big tree, and you can see the little pigeon.
Oh.
You've basically all the big trees have animals in them, and some of the little trees have like little details. Like this one has little mushrooms, if you see in the corner, and then this is like a little bird in there, and so like the trees are literally alive. I mean, they are alive anyway, but they've also got the life of the animals. And so in the game, you can sort of see, okay, that's small, that's medium, and that's big. So obviously, because it's 3D, you can tell the difference. But on a screen, because you might need a little bit of help, they do have little dashes. And if people want to watch as we're currently playing, I can pop that.
Oh yeah, they can put that in. Whilst you were doing the trees, I was having a whole moment of big tree, little tree, cardboard box. Big tree, little tree, cardboard box. Sorry, proper moments of madness.
So what's happened here is after someone takes a turn order gets rotated. So you basically get 2 turns in a row, and then you'll get 2 turns in a row, and vice versa, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
So the lights now go shining on the left. You're getting 1 light from your little tree here.
And no light.
This one is sadly in shadow.
Mm.
Conversely, I've got this 1 tree here, and this one here is, and when I said that you could grow it to outgrow me, I'd completely forgotten that I would be able to grow that to medium. So I do apologize, that wasn't me trying to trick you. I genuinely forgot.
Terrible teaching, Bez. You know, your teaching's only as good as if the person beats you, really, isn't it? I think.
I'm sorry. I feel bad now. So I'm going to throw 2 seeds very quickly as my second turn. So this one's going diagonally, as I mentioned. Mm-hmm. And the other thing to note is that anywhere in the middle 7 spaces, you get more points. Then on the outer ring, you get fewer points, and on the very outside, fewer points still. So currently it's 19, 17, and 14, but you do have limited counters, 5, 8, and 9. But even though there's only 5 for these center spots, you're very unlikely to run out of them, whereas the outside 9 spots, in a long game, we are almost certainly going to run out of that, if that makes sense. I've got 2 light points. I threw 1 there, and I'm going to click very quickly and go there and see what happens and end the turn. And so at this point, you've got 2 light, mm-hmm. and you could be growing your tree in the corner. You could be growing your little tree your seed to a little tree. Although then it would be blocked by yourself in the next turn, but then in the next turn you could grow it up. And yeah,
Feel like my last go was terrible.
I was a bad teacher. I apologize.
Yeah, terrible. Okay, so yeah, I know. You see what she's done there. She's left me not being able to do the same as her. It's terrible behaviour, Bears. Is it worth me growing my tree on the right? Maybe.
Yeah, you'll get 2 light.
Yeah, and then I think that might be the better move, actually.
And then you can end, and I mean, the first few turns are very quick. And now you've got some more stuff that you could do. So with free lights, let's have a look at what you've got. So you don't have any medium trees left in your stock. So your next medium tree would actually end up costing you 5, because not only, this is where it gets a little bit weird, because not only does it cost 2 light to plant the medium tree, but you would also need to buy it from your board, which costs 3. As you can see, the prices go 3, 3, 4 for the medium trees, 4, 5 for the big trees, 2, 2, 3, 3 for the small, and 1, 1, 2, 2 for the little bits of light. So when you're at the very start, growing a small into a medium, you are throwing away that small out of the game, and you're losing the opportunity to get maybe close to the end of the game. You might be like, oh, I could have gotten some stuff there. So you might want to make a space off your board before you upgrade something, if that makes sense, so that you keep these cheaper prices available. But yeah, after these initial things run out, you're kind of like, okay, now I need to spend a lot more. And this is where you might want to do more seeding, for example. Or
yeah, well, I was just thinking,
behind.
oh, it's such a pain, isn't it? So on the next go, I'm going to get 2, 3
exactly
light.
And you'll be able to grow the little seed here, which you can't currently do because it's in shadow. And there's obviously no way for me to block that for the next couple of turns.
Do I want to plant a seed, though, out?
I think planting a seed is a good idea. It's still like early days. You want to... Is there a rich gets richer effect in this game? Yes, there is, unfortunately. There is definitely a bit of a slippery slope issue in this game, which is, some would say, another problem that it has. I mean, even though I do absolutely adore this game, I'm not blind to its faults. I hope that people do think of me as someone who can be somewhat vaguely objective when I talk about games. Oh, you made... sorry, I didn't see where you seeded. So there is a slight problem with the current location of the seed, in that potentially in 2 turns, I might be able to block you. So I am going to grow this one for just 1, although it does get rid of the seed from the game. I am going to buy a seed just to take to keep some cheap seeds around, and then end the turn like that. And it does mean that now I'm throwing shade on myself. You know, it's not a great thing to do, to be throwing shade on yourself, but yeah, sometimes happens. And now I'm going to grow my second medium tree by buying this for 3, and then growing this, which means that in the next turn, I'll be throwing shade 2 along here. But sometimes you've just got to accept, okay, there's 1 turn where I'm going to have a bit less light, and 1 turn where I have a bit more light, and that's okay. But now you've got you start off because it's a long game, normally you only start off with 2 little trees, but because it's a long game, you started off with 4 little trees here. And so you could grow both of these seeds for just 2. And you've got 5 light. Conversely, you could buy a seed first, which would keep your cheaper seeds in the game, if that makes sense.
Oh, I just drew that I could still do that. Okay. Hang on.
So I can see here where...
Yeah.
Oh, I can increase the size of Josie's little player board. No, that doesn't quite work. Now it's inside itself. I'm going to close that. Huh. Now you've got 6 light. So now we're getting into the sorts of, oh, now we've done something, and now it's starting to open up. Because with your other trees, sure, one of them's in shade, but with 6 light, that's enough to grow 1 to a medium. Bearing in mind, I will be casting shade on you next turn, but then the turn after that, there would be light coming down. And yeah, it's... So this one in the corner might be a valuable one to grow up. Conversely, you might be thinking about casting more seeds from here. You might also be thinking about, I think you could afford to do both of those things. You might even decide to keep a little bit of light currency until next turn.
Thanks for all of those options. I don't know what to do.
I mean, I would not recommend casting a seed from these bottom
No,
things.
I wasn't. I was looking up here, trying to decide if I'm going to cast from the bigger tree or the little tree.
Well, the little tree here is in shadow, so you literally can't.
Oh, I can't. Yeah, okay.
And the bigger tree allows you to do it from further away, which would mean that you're kind of avoiding shading yourself at least that turn. And you've got 5 light points left, so you could save it, or you could grow this up thinking towards 2 turns in the future, as well as the turns after that. So that would be more of a long-term move to do this one in the bottom.
I was contemplating growing up the one in the middle, actually.
I mean, the one in the middle, the problem with that is that when the light's shining down and to the left, it's going to be blocked by my one here. If you see where my cursor is showing. And so either of them are going to be blocked on the next turn, but on the next turn, this has like a straight path down to it. And on the next turn, then unless I grow this one, which I wouldn't be able to because this would be, well, no, actually I would be able to, potentially. Yes, I would be able to. I do apologize. But unless I do that, you'll be free. But even if I do that, on the following 3 turns, you would be getting shade. And if I do grow my 2 into a medium, then you would be casting shade on me when it's in 6 turns' time. Because remember, the sun's going to revolve 4 times over the course of the game. Oh, lots of love, Alex, and thanks for popping in.
Okay, it's telling me I can't do anything at the moment. Maybe it's just had a little moment of blipping.
I mean, these trees are not in shadow. You certainly should be able to do something there.
No, it's because I don't have anything. I don't have any. I've got to buy some trees, don't I?
Oh, yes. You've got to buy the little medium tree off your board.
That'd be
so that would cost 3, and then growing it up costs another 2.
Okay, so
5 total.
Yeah, 5 total.
Is spending all your currency, but you know you've got to invest to reap the rewards.
Yes, I do. Okay,
and
so
to make light.
Okay, we'll grow you up.
Oh, and I did like Alex's joke. It was an armless pun. It's a limbs race. And Mike said, don't get too wooden. Are you looking down because you're...
Yeah, because it's terrible. They're just raking through these jokes, aren't they?
Brilliant. Okay, so instantly I'm thinking, okay, I've got 5 lights. What am I doing? I could grow this one to be a medium, but then I'm blocking myself. Maybe I don't want to do that. Maybe I do. Conversely, maybe I want to cast more seeds. Oh, I like seeds. Let's throw more seeds. And then I'm thinking I'm going to throw some seeds off here. As I said, there is a bit of a race on the outside. And let's buy another seed. And so on the outside, that's pretty good because down it'll be fine, there it'll be fine. It's basically currently not getting blocks from any direction, which is amazing. Then I'm going to throw one up here, which again is not being blocked from any direction currently. So I've got 2 light, which might seem like a waste, but I'm going to end my turn and maybe save that light and do something even more spectacular now. So at this point, I could grow this little one into a medium one. And that would be a good thing because then on the next turn, I'm no longer blocking myself. I do even have the light to do that for 5 light, plus grow these 2 trees because I've still got... Oh no, I've run out of all my little trees. So growing my little trees now is going to cost me more. So growing my little trees is now going to cost me 3 because I need to buy them first. Because I've done my... Wow, that went quickly. I am going to go... Let's see. So that would cost... So I could spend 3 here and 3 here and then get maybe 2 more lights on the next turn. Or I could spend 5 here and get 2 more lights on the next turn and potentially block you. So even though I feel slightly mean...
Yeah, stop blocking me. Come on. I've not got any light. You're suffocating my poor little trees.
And I'm going to also buy the little tree to keep the little trees.
You're such a light hog.
Sorry. Not sorry. So with your free light, obviously you could do some more seeding, or you could grow this seed into a little tree, and that would give you 1 more light on your next turn.
Yeah, which is probably better for me, but I have to buy a tree to do that, and I don't. Yeah.
I mean, it costs you 3, but then you're getting guaranteed light for the next 2 turns and probably more lights afterwards, so you'll make your light back soon enough. And now you get 6 light, which is a...
Oh, I'm first.
Decent amount. And now your options are... So this is an interesting game. Like, in terms of decision space, it's kind of a dynamic decision space. Like, at the start, the decision space expands, and then at the end, it starts to wane and shrink down. It's... And thank you for lurking here, Mike. Thanks for spending the time, even if you're not wanting to chat or whatever, and I appreciate you letting us know that you are here. But yeah, at the start, it's kind of like you get more and more light, and so it's the expansion of decision space, which is really nice when I contrast it with Go, which is, in my opinion, one of the greatest games ever invented. Or, yeah.
You still haven't taught me Go. That's a task before you emigrate. Before you emigrate, you've got to teach me. You're not allowed to leave the country until you've taught me Go.
I will have a group Bez teaches everyone Go session.
Okay.
On like I'll teach lots of people Go at once.
Okay.
On Sunday, like August the 14th.
Yeah.
No, 13th.
Whatever
13th
day,
is my birthday. Maybe we'll do it on Saturday. I don't know. One of the days.
Okay.
So what are you thinking of doing?
So I need to buy whatever I want to do. I've got to buy the resources to do it. So do I
mean, the key thing to remember is if you cast seeds from adjacent things, they
will eventually cause shadow, yes.
Potentially. I mean, as you can see, I've managed to outgrow myself here at the bottom by having the 2 versus the 1, which means that I wasn't actually blocking myself, which was quite nice. But if you grow yourself to be 2, then that's the first time when you're able to go bloom, and now you're not blocking yourself ever. So I do generally recommend that as an action if you can, and that would cost you 5, which you do have. And that's also, yeah.
So you think I should grow up the tree on the outside, yes?
What, this one?
The other one, I don't know. That's I was looking at my board, which is on a different screen. Sorry.
The one on the top right.
You think I should grow that one?
That would be a fine thing to do. I think that's a good move, because also then next turn when the light shines in from the left, you're getting an extra light. Whereas if you grow the one in the middle, you're not getting any immediate payoff for it.
But I will then casting myself shadow, won't I?
In the next round.
In the next round I would be. Yeah. Okay. So I need to
buy.
How
do you know that's happening?
Buy a tree.
It's the problem with having thrown those seeds in this kind of straight line pattern, whereas, yeah, doing it in this kind of diagonal thing does make a big difference. If you can see how my reds are kind of in almost a Y. Oh, I've got 7 light points, and it costs me 2 to buy a thing, which makes 4, 1 to plant each of these, which makes 6. But I also bought a seed just before I did that to make sure that rather than the seed being thrown out of the game, I've got one here ready for next turn, if that makes sense. Oh, I think I bought one too many small trees. I'll leave it. Try not to undo and just keep going. Like if I was playing a tournament, obviously I would be thinking a bit more deeply about my moves and whatnot, but yeah. At this point, I've got 9 lights. So this is where, the payoff started to happen, and we see a big light differential. I do apologize. Like it's 5 versus 9, and I'm going to
see. I'm just going to say, teaching terrible. That's terrible.
Yes, I'm going to buy this light and buy this tree and put it up here. So
I feel like we're not weighted right now. Like it's terrible. You're just gonna get more light the whole time. Right, I need to figure out what to do.
And I've got a seed, so I am going to throw something. Maybe there doesn't seem to be a great spot, but I'll put it there because hopefully next turn I will still be able to cast that. So with 6 light, that's 1 short, annoyingly, and I genuinely feel for you, because it would cost 7 to grow your first big tree, 4 to buy it, and 3 to plant it. So you will be blocking this one next turn.
Blocking which one? Sorry, I wasn't looking. I was looking at my screen.
You will be blocking your topmost tree from the one that's 2 diagonally to the right, down and to the right. But what you could also do is grow some seeds, I guess. You could also save some light potentially. I mean, if you bought seeds and planted 2 seeds, that would be 4, and then you'd save 2 light. Then I guess you'd get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 light on your next turn. So that would be 7, and then that would be potentially enough to, buy a big tree if you wanted.
Mm-hmm.
And even though 5 big tree on the outside, it can sort of seem a little bit like a waste. It does also mean that then you could use that as a threat to, hey, if Bez grows either of these big, then she's still not getting the light, and Bez is getting some, at least the one to the right of it would be blocked, which is better than nothing.
So where would you plant a seed?
I would plant it in a diagonal, so I would plant
on the outside over there.
Because remember, each tree can only throw 1 seed per turn because they're
I
trees
know.
and they move slowly. Although it's not really realistic. I almost feel like if it were to be more realistic,
Because they'd do all of them at the same time.
Yeah, it would be kind of more like an area control thing, or maybe
If it was really realistic, it would involve some kind of wind and luck.
Yeah, like there would
which
be
you would hate.
There would be some dice rolling to see which of the seeds actually takes root.
But you don't like luck. You don't like dice games particularly. So
I don't.
So maybe this game then you'd be like, oh, photosynthesis, no.
I mean, to be fair, you have to have abstraction, obviously, for making anything into a game. But, I mean, with your other thing, it's a challenging question because if you grow diagonally, then you're kind of shading your little tree.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas if you grow straight down, then at least you're further away from it. And you're probably not going to be shading your 2 because at this point that's already developed, whereas your other one would be relatively small. So, I mean, that feels like a reasonable thing, what you've done just there. And this turn, you got 5 again. I did get slightly more.
Mm-hmm.
But you've got the 2 seeds, and you could theoretically buy 2 trees and plant them both, which would grow those 2 trees. One of them would definitely get you light. The other one would get you light unless I grow this one down to the left of it, which I might totally do.
Mm-hmm.
The other thing you could do with your 7 light is to big this one up to make this into a giant tree, but then that's only really going to help you in the next turn, so you might want to wait a turn before doing that. And next turn you will be getting 1, 2, 3, maybe 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So next turn you'd be probably getting like 8 light, which is enough to make one of your trees big anyway. So you might want to wait rather than saying, hey, I've definitely done this. There is definitely something to be said about dangling the threat above me rather than committing to it. Because remember, you only get 2 really big trees. And so your really big trees, it's also a big opportunity cost, if you know what I mean.
You only get
2 big trees in the game. Once they're gone, they're gone.
Okay.
And, well, once they're gone, you need to reap them in order to get the points, and then you can plant them again. So they do go back on your board, but the thing about these really big trees is that then that's going to take like 12 light next time you want to grow something up, or because like the first one will cost 7, the next one will cost 8, and then the third one and fourth one basically cost 12 because you need to reap it, get the points, buy it back for 5 and put it down.
Back on your board, okay.
So it's kind of like gets really expensive after the second. What are you thinking?
I'm looking at my seedlings going, do I grow up my little seedlings? And then I'm looking at the little cluster in the corner that's with yours.
The one in the middle, there's not much way to help that, unfortunately. I mean, doing the seedling seems like a totally reasonable move.
So I'll get light off of that seedling for the next go. And if you grew that one, I wouldn't get it when it gets around to 1, 2. So I wouldn't get any light then. If you grew that, you might not grow that. Which seedling to grow? The one at the top or the one at the bottom?
I mean, you could do both of them. You do have the light.
I know, but I was trying to save and then...
But you'll be... I mean, if you grow the one at the top, yes, I can block it, but I'm also then going to be blocking myself, so it's kind of wasted light for me. And then I block myself the following turn, but you aren't blocked, so it's still good for you, I think. I'm not sure.
And then I'm looking at the one at the bottom as well, but I'm not...
The one at the bottom is guaranteed light next turn. Might get light the following turn. I genuinely don't know what I will do next.
Yeah.
And we'll probably get light the following turn, as long as you don't grow your own tree to block it, which you
probably
wouldn't do.
Yeah.
And then, on turns thereafter, it's going to get more and more light. So I think it's in a strong position.
The one at the bottom.
Yeah, both of them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And I've just counted, and just to let you know, there are 9 trees on the perimeter of the board, which is also the number of points tokens. So just to let you know, if all of these get reaped by the end of the game, we will totally run out of points tokens. And so if there is one more seedling planted, someone might get disappointed. But the number of seedlings and trees currently is completely on par with what we've got. And it seems to be the fairly typical progression where the outside, hey, it's easy, get lots of light and eventually grow stuff. But in the middle, it's a brutal fight. And not only are you hemmed in from the outside, but also from your adjacent stuff.
Oh, I can't decide. Do I grow up the other tree? Have I got enough points to grow up the other tree? What have I got for?
Yes, you do.
I do. Do I grow up the other tree or do I not?
I would strongly encourage it.
Do you reckon?
Yeah. You're getting light.
Oh, God.
Spending free light, and you're guaranteed, that much over the next round.
Okay, done. Yours.
I don't know what I'm doing. I'm going to... Okay, I've got one small tree, so I guess I will buy that seedling just to avoid them going up in price. And buy that. I've got 8 lights, and I'm thinking as it goes up, I am blocking myself here anyway.
Mm-hmm.
And if I grew up one more, then I would be blocking you.
Don't do it. Don't do it. That poor baby tree in the middle.
This one... Ooh, this one would be a big threat. My gosh, I'm sorry. No, I'm not sorry. And that's the end of my turn. So now here's where you could, with your 11 light...
You take no prisoners. Yep, go on.
Oh, no, wait. I've got 11 light, sorry.
Yes. I don't have 11. I have 9.
Yes. So I'm thinking, okay, it's going to shine this way, and I am going to, possibly make a big tree just to hem in these ones in 2 turns' time. And with my free light, I guess I am going to buy another seedling and think about where to put it. And this seems like a potentially reasonable space because it won't be blocked next turn currently. In 3 turns, it won't be... I mean, it's kind of only blocked on 2 sides out of 6. So that seems not too bad. So you've got 9 light points, which means that you could grow this 2 into a 3 for 7 light and take away 3 of my light, which feels like a good move. But it is also wasted in the following turn when my big tree on the left would shade you, but then you do get lights again when it's coming down and to the left. And, on future turns, because it's in the corner, then, you'll be shading me thereafter unless I've reaped my tree. So that might be a good move. It might not. The other thing that you could do if you were to do that, I would be thinking, okay, what else could I do with the remainder of that? And I would be thinking, I could potentially either save that 2 light or buy a tree and spread it. But the other thing that you could do is, for me, it's all about how much I increase my light gain by versus how much I destroy the other person's light gain. So, if you were to grow the medium tree on the far right corner to be a big tree, you're increasing your light gain by 1, but you're not really destroying
doing
anything
anything. I
else.
know. No. Not. What about if I grew my tree in the middle? My only middle-y tree.
Oh, then you grow yours by 1, destroy mine by 1. And then you're kind of still in shade the following turn.
No, the other one, the one more in the middle. Yeah, that one.
You can't because it's currently in shadow.
Oh, it's in shadow. I want a little...
From my big thing that I grew up.
Yeah, you did.
Because, after you reacted, I was like, haha, because I'm mean like that.
Sometimes. You are completely mean.
When playing games, yes.
I don't know why I'm friends with you. Okay. Blum. You mean what? What were you going to say?
No, I was going to say, you've basically, if you grow the medium to the big, it is more expensive than growing the small to the medium, but also you are currently in the jump where it goes from being 3 points to buy to 4 points to buy the medium.
I know.
And so if you grew the medium to the big, then one of the mediums would come back to your board, and then it would be slightly cheaper next turn. So that might be another reason to do it.
Have done it.
And if you're committed to that at this point, you would be getting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 lights next turn. And so 10 lights, a good amount. So if you saved, you would have 12, I guess. And you could do, 5 for the... No, that's 1 short to do a medium and a big, because that would cost you 13. But
I don't think there's anything else unless I threw a seedling, an acorn, buy an acorn and throw an acorn.
If you threw an acorn into the middle, you could then grow a small and a medium in the same turn, but that might just at this is the point of the game where we are going to have to accept that our trees are going to start becoming more and more regularly shaded, if you know what I mean. So even having something that's in light 3 out of 6 turns, let alone 4 out of 6 turns, might actually be a good deal.
So I'm assuming it's probably best to get the middle section, isn't it? Or is it not?
Yeah, are you talking about where my cursor is?
Yeah, I'm just looking at where I could throw a seed to at the moment.
Yes.
I mean, is it worth going there, or is it worth waiting and
Like,
saving those
if you
points
were
and trying
to
to figure it
throw
out?
it there, you would be guaranteed light next turn. You would definitely not get light next turn, but then the
The one
turn
after
after that you
potentially,
would,
yeah.
the turn after that you would, and if you've grown it up, the turn
Yeah,
after
then I
that
would.
you potentially would, and the turn after that you
Yeah.
would. So you're only being blocked by one side for quite a while, and that gives you time to grow it up to a medium potentially,
Yeah.
which then would allow you to avoid blocking yourself. I mean, I think, are we still in the first? Oh, we are in round 2, so we're in turn 10. But at the turn 12 is where I normally feel like, okay, I've finally established all my stuff, and I've grown all my medium trees and my big trees. So you're still kind of establishing your space. The short game, in a couple of turns, you'd have to stop planting trees because there's just no point. But the long game is something that I have played less, I will admit. And maybe that's part of why I find it interesting, because then the third round, it's not just, okay, I know I've just got to reap everything and lose all my trees and turn them into points. It's also, how can I keep bringing big trees back, if you know what I mean?
So...
And that's a turn where you got 10 and I got 9, just to let you know, so well done. Because you damaged my light economy.
Yeah, the first time though, Bez, let's just be...
But still, I want to celebrate your victory.
Do I grow my little seedling up that I just planted, which will then cost me
5? No, 4.
No, I've got to grow a little tree, so a little tree's 3.
And then planting it is 1, so makes 4.
4, yeah. And then...
And you would have light to do that, plus a medium tree, which is 5. And then you'd have 1 light left over. And if you were to do that, then potentially you could have 1, 2, because these will all be in shadow. 3.
Well, that's why I was thinking about doing it now, because it'll be in shadow.
So you would only get 5 lights next turn if you were to do that. The other option, so if you are to grow this little seedling, it does deny yourself 1 light next turn, potentially. Yeah, it would actually. But conversely, you could also think about doing this medium tree into a big tree, which is 8, and it would give you 3 more lights than you would otherwise get on the next turn, and then 1 more light in the next couple of turns, but then it would put you down
in shade, yeah.
Here. But you could also start, because this is, as we get past turn 12, where he starts running out of big trees and medium trees, this is the point where you might start thinking about just getting rid of your big trees to plant them again. So you could then grow that. I think that, so I don't know if I've helped give you any information at all. What are you thinking?
Not really. I wasn't thinking about growing that as a big tree at all. Because I just think it's going to block too many of my other trees.
I mean, in a couple of turns, but actually growing it and then reaping it might be a reasonable thing. But that is costing 8 and then 4, so you're spending the 12 and only getting the 3. Like, doing this as a medium would give you 1. Doing this into a small sort of loses you 1, but then you're getting more stuff on the following turn. So doing this to a small feels like an investment in the future.
Which is what my plan was. I'm going to go with my plan. I'm going to go with my original plan.
Yeah. Seems like your guts isn't too bad.
It's okay. My gut's okay. My gut instinct on the tree side.
Listen to your gut. You know trees.
I know trees. So not sure if I do. Yeah, so then I don't...
So you've got 6, which is 1 more than you need to grow a medium. And so actually, I would undo your move. I would restart your entire move.
Why?
Because
I've just pressed it, but I'm asking
why. If you grow the medium first, then you save 1 light on buying back your small tree. Because if you grow a small into a medium first, then you put down a small tree onto your board.
Right. Okay. So I put it down to this. But what am I growing into a medium? What were you thinking I was going to grow into a medium?
I was assuming the one on the top.
Oh, that little one up there.
Yeah, why not? It gives you a light. I mean, it's going to block me potentially if you keep growing it.
Okay, so you think grow that one to a medium.
And now you've got a
little tree to grow that one into
this showing doesn't seem to quite work. What?
And then I've got 2. Yeah, I'm just that will work. That's fine.
Yeah, so you end up with 1 more light than you otherwise would have had. And let me try and get rid of this. Yeah, I can't quite get rid of that. So now I'm looking at my stuff. I've got medium trees and seeds and stuff. Going down, I guess I will make this small tree into a medium tree because I still have cheap medium trees and that's going to give me lights next turn. And then I'm thinking, should I throw a seed or should I just, hold tight for a moment? And is there a good place for me to throw a seed? Maybe there isn't. Maybe I've kind of missed the opportunity. Maybe I need to grow this into a 3 before I can do anything useful, really. Oh, I could grow this one into a small, which does block you, and in 2 turns and 3 turns, it will give me light. So that's kind of exciting. And I am blocking you quite a bit.
Yes, you are.
I'm sorry.
You're such a blocker. Terrible.
I'm thinking of getting rid of one of my big trees and growing a new big tree because I've got more than 12 light, which is a good amount.
Brag, brag, brag. Look at all this light I've got.
If I am to do that, I would do this one here, I think. Spend that.
You just spaff those seedlings out. Go on.
And that's the end of my turn because now that one's kind of in a place where it won't be blocked by you too easily. So, as it currently stands, your next turn, so you don't have enough to.
No, I have no light. I have no light at all.
I mean, 6 light. Come on, don't.
Oh, that's minuscule amount of light, isn't it? Let's think about it. It's not a lot of light coming through
6,
here.
7, 8, 9, 10. You'll be getting 10 light next turn.
Can't do anything. Okay, I can do things down there, but I can't.
Like with this little one, if you grow it into a medium.
Oh, I didn't mean to do that.
Yeah, you might want
restart
to
turn. There we go. Whew, I just pressed the button.
with the medium, with this little one, you could grow it into a medium, but then you
also don't
wouldn't
think
get
there's no
any
point.
increase in light.
It's not doing me much doing that.
Yeah, there's not much to do, to be honest.
There's not.
I would, yeah. What are you thinking? Saving the light?
But that feels like a whole, almost like a wasted go, because I'm not doing anything.
Sometimes it's the right thing to do, though. I mean, there's a limit of 20 for a reason. And I'm glad it looks interesting to you, Jess.
Yeah, but Jess, I'm losing. Like, I'm majorly losing.
But the question now is, if you were to play with Jess, who would win?
Jess, because she's really good at strategy games. Right, that's fine. I'm going to do nothing. I'm going to sit tight.
You get 10 light. Nice. Which does put you at 16. So you could do quite a bit of stuff potentially. You could grow this one into a medium. You could, I mean, next turn, sadly, this one's going to be blocking that. Oh, you could grow this into a big one, and then that's threatening to block me. Although I could just reap the tree, but at least you're threatening it. And also it's helping you in 2 turns not get blocked by yourself, if you know what I mean.
Mm-hmm.
And it is giving you a light anyway. And 8, 6, that would cost you 14 if you were to do, hypothetically, a big and a medium upgrade. No, it would only cost you 13 because you'd do the big first and then reduce the price of the medium. And then with 3 left, you could...
Do I want that to be a big tree, though, really? I mean, I know it threatens to block you, but then you're just going to reap your tree anyway. So there's no real blocking going on.
Well, it means that you get 1 more light for it right away. The question is, like, at this point, you probably want to get your big trees out. You've got 1 big tree and 1 medium tree in your stock. You want to get them out. Get that 1 extra thing. And looking ahead 2 turns, you're kind of in danger of blocking yourself. Why would you want that for yourself? Come on. You don't want to block yourself.
No, I don't need to block myself. You know why? Because you're doing all the blocking. Okay. Oh, there you are. Then what have I got? 8. So I could buy my little tree, well, my big tree, medium tree.
Yep.
2.
It's if you were to grow...
I can only grow, yeah. Like there's only
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7,
yeah,
8, 9.
It does make sense.
You would get 10. 11. Unless I empty this space.
Yeah, which you probably will do, won't you?
What? Why would I do that? I mean, do you want me to do it?
No.
I mean, do you want me to go easy on you?
No, I don't want you to go easy on me. You never do that anyway.
I mean, I would if you asked me to.
No, but I wouldn't ask you to. That would be like, no. I've had a terrible week, Bez. You might as well just thrash me. Finish my week off. Okay. Do I want to buy some acorns? Is what I was just thinking.
If you buy an acorn, you could seed it with your big tree down at the bottom, and the big tree does have good range. 1, 2, 3. So it could,
yeah,
1, 2, 3.
I think I will.
1, 2, 3. Anywhere basically in this entire third of the board. And then you'd be thinking, okay, where is a good space? That's actually a hard question to answer. I mean, this space is being blocked on 3 sides, 4 sides actually. And yeah, that might be as good as you can get. I can't see a better space. Maybe Jess can find a better space. This space has been blocked on 1, 2, 3. Oh no, it's not being blocked next turn. Whose turn is it going to be next?
Yours, I think, is your first,
No,
isn't it?
yes, it is going to be mine.
Yeah.
You're right. So I could grow this into a bigger one too.
Well, by could you mean you will?
I mean, but no, yeah, you're right. Yeah.
So do I? Oh, do I?
That would be.
I don't know. I don't know if Jess is actually listening, or if anybody's still there. Do I put a seedling out into the location where Bez is now going to block it, where they put it there? Or
That's blocked on 4 directions, but you could. No, you can't do. No, yes, you could clear this tree just in time to open up the light. So then it would only be blocked in 3 directions for the next wee while. And no, but then that's one still there. Yeah, that's 4. That's not great. This one's also not great. It might be slightly better. 1, 2, 3, 4. I mean, I don't know if that is slightly better. Is this any better? That's terrible. That's the worst. Yeah, I definitely wouldn't do that one. That one, I mean, one of these two, because neither of them are great at this point, but there are another 5, 11 turns. And this is basically the end game, which this is the part of the game that you don't get with the short. So if we were playing the so-called short game, this would be the final round.
right, okay.
At this point, there would be no sense in you making a tree. But this is the exciting part, because there's like 11 more turns left. Even if you only get light 4 more times, you could still grow that into a big tree and get points for it. Or it could just pay for itself, if you know what I mean. But it is hard to plan ahead at this point, where it's kind of well, if I do that, then you do that. But if I do...
Yeah.
This is where it gets into that whole thing.
Yeah, it does. If I grew up, I could grow like from one of the other trees, a seedling from one of the other locations.
You could.
Oh, I like that. Your whole tone of voice said, "But why would you do that?" That was literally what you just said. You could. Why would you consider that, Josie?
No, actually, you know what? I had discounted it very quickly. So here, nope, yes, nope, 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 nope. That's not great. Yeah, you can basically put it anywhere except for this location. So that's not great. I mean, on the top, the issue with the top is that you're not going to get the you're not going to get points for it, but you might be able to get light from it, if you know what I mean.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, theoretically, putting it in the corner, you are your blocks for the next 3 turns, and so it'll only be 3 turns thereafter. And then if you grow it there, and then there, and then there, and my tree is still there, then that might be worth doing. And I feel like
you feel like there's the best
growing here gives you more opportunity to actually threaten, at least to get points. And it's probably, given that I am going to reap one of these 2 trees.
You may not. You may not. You may not. You may keep them there. Who knows, Bez? You may not do that.
I don't know. I'm inspired currently to keep this one because it's blocking you here.
Mm-hmm.
But then, if you were to get rid of that one, then I would be more inspired to get rid of this one, if you know what I mean. At which point, then these 2 spaces might start to become a little bit better. Like this space particularly. I don't know.
I'm choosing between the two spaces. Push bang. Right. And enter.
Okay. So I am going to get rid of. I'm going to spend my 15 light.
Oh yeah. Brag about that light, why don't you?
Maybe I will make this one in the middle big. I'm feeling like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8. Oh, I need to bank back. And now I grow it up. And now I've got 3 lights, and I can't do much with it. Do I grow one little seedling just for the sake of
No, you don't. You don't. No. Definitely not.
I mean,
definitely no growing to be done by Bez. No. And there she goes.
just
because I could. Thought I would.
Okay, so I've got 11. Actually, that was a bad idea, is the funny thing. If I'd stopped to calculate it, I would have tried to get myself on 12 lights, because 12 lights is a far better number to be on, because then I could have, yeah. But at this point, I will grow these to be a little bit bigger. And we'll see what happens now. So I did that thinking that my light tree is now poking up, and I'm hopefully going to get some light, but also I'm blocking you. But if you want, you could retaliate and make this into a medium tree, which would cost you 6, I guess. You could also grow this into a small tree, which I guess would cost you 3. You could do both, because you do have 12 light points.
I know, I have 12 light points.
You could also, now that I've gotten rid of that tree, because I wasn't thinking about you having a thing in the corner, you could pop yourself in the corner and make a little seedling there. How much light would you get next turn? Currently 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. You're currently getting 11. And if you were to grow this one into medium, you'd be getting 12. So then you'd have enough to start reaping and start getting your points. Well, I should say that each time I got to a tree, I did get points. So I'm on currently, I've got some points.
And I have, what, 0 points?
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I'm a bad teacher.
Yes. Is this why you have so many? Is this why you have so many helpers come and help you, Bez, to demo games?
Because I'm a terrible. I mean, it's so that people play someone who hasn't played Wibble 500 times. True story. When I play Wibble, I try to not think about the game while the other person's thinking about their words, just because otherwise, like, it's all like they'll be too demoralized.
Yes. And I'm not a word game lover, you know that anyway.
And that's totally fine. I mean, I think it's totally fine if you don't beat other people.
Oh yeah, I don't play to win. I play to have fun, actually. So winning's always a bonus.
Trying to win.
Yeah, you play trying to win, but you not winning doesn't bother me. That's not something that bothers me at all.
Look, if I lose, then that's totally fine with me.
Yeah, because some people are really sore about losing and not like I like it's a game. Like, as long as you're having fun, it really doesn't matter.
Like, look, in the 2-player tournament that's coming up in June, if I win, like, I am going to be a bit smug about it. So I'm not going to lie. But if I lose, I'll be like, well, finally, now there's something left to learn.
Finally, somebody is better than me. Is that what it's going to be? Finally, I've met my match. Okay, right.
I mean, I have spent a lot of time thinking about photosynthesis.
Okay, right. I am going to. I'm going to grow my seedling into a little tree.
Well, if you do grow your stuff, yeah, that's fine because it's the cheaper one anyway.
It's the cheaper one at the moment, yeah.
But yeah, if you were to grow the if you did want to grow the medium and if you did want to grow a medium and a big, obviously you do the big first so that you save one money on the.
Yeah, I don't know if I really want to grow.
Oh no, you don't have any big left. Sorry.
No, I've got a reap to grow big, so I think my best.
Yeah, and then you're just kind of reaping one and losing.
For the sake of it, it seems like
that's not worth it right now.
No, I think the best bet is to grow you into an actual tree. Yeah.
I mean, I would definitely do this medium because then that gives you one plus it blocks me too, which is quite nice.
That's the expensive medium.
It is, but
it is.
And now is the time when you really want to start getting your points, I would say, on the next turn.
Okay.
So, yeah, and you'll be getting, I think we said 12. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So you would get 15 if you paused now, which is totally fine. The important thing is to not go above 20 or you're wasting your light.
No, I was pausing at this point because I don't think there's anywhere. Oh, maybe.
What are you thinking? A seedling?
I'm thinking, yeah, just throwing out a little acorn.
What's onto the top left?
Into the little corner, yeah.
Yeah, because I have opened it up a lot. I mean, it is blocked on 2 out of the 6 sides, so you're getting light. You're guaranteed light 3 turns no matter what, and it's going to take me quite a bit of time to grow this middle one. So I'm probably never going to be able to. Honestly, that middle one was probably a terrible move on my part in retrospect. No one's perfect. Especially when
teaching. Are you gonna literally put that down to the fact that you're teaching me is why you're not perfect?
No, I'm never perfect, but especially when teaching, I am even less perfect.
Okay.
And just to point out, you got 12 lights, I only got 10.
Ooh.
Well done.
Oh, it's my go again first.
Yes.
Okay.
So in theory, if you were to grow this one into a little tree, then that would get you, you know.
I know that is where I was going.
But I would not do that.
What would you do now? I've purchased the bloody tree. Yep, go on.
I would actually grow this one into a big tree and do the whole, like I would reset the turn and reap and maybe grow this one into a big tree because this is currently getting no light next turn because you'd be shading it. Whereas if you were to, for example, reap this one and put it here, then you're not losing out, if you know what I mean, and you're starting to get points because now is a good time to start.
Yeah, and it doesn't really well. It only does something to you in one go as well.
And this is our penultimate cycle, if you know what I mean.
Okay, so grow you into a big tree, yes?
Yes.
Grow you into. Oh, I need to buy the big tree.
Doesn't help, does it? I don't know who you're talking to. I mean, you can't
I'm
grow me
talking
into a big tree.
I will
never be a tree. Do you think you would ever be a tree?
You might come back as a tree. You never know.
Yeah, if you believe in reincarnation.
Well, it doesn't take believing in it if it actually happens, does it?
Yeah, if reincarnation is true, that's
If
fair.
reincarnation, it doesn't matter whether you believe in it or not, it will happen.
That's true.
Okay, end turn. Yours.
And
All
also
yours.
the nice thing there is that is guaranteed light. I can't block it. So now I'm thinking, okay, this is blocking myself. I'm not too happy with that. So if I were to get rid of this, then I'd only be losing one, but still I'm losing one, and I've only got 11 lights, so I can't replant it, which is kind of sad. I'm missing out on the magical 20. How many lights would I get next turn if I actually just stopped now? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So I would be going up to 21. So part of me thinks I am I'm actually just going to end the turn.
Look at all that light you've got.
So that is then putting me up to 20, and I am going to get rid of this because now it would be blocked by you on the following turn, and I'm thinking of increasing one of these. Maybe I'll increase this one because then that would definitely block you. So I think you've got 12 lights again. So you could, in theory, reap this one and grow it here. So just to annoy you. Or I could annoy you here. Which one?
I was going to say, remember you're seeing me in person tomorrow, Bez.
I mean, if I don't grow this one, then you could also annoy me by making this one into a medium. So I'm going to do this to stop myself being annoyed.
Okay.
And let me check that I'm not overshooting with my light. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So I'm going up to 19, so that's fine. But do I want to grow? No, I can't grow a little into a medium, so I think I'm going to stop there. So 12 is a magic number, as well as 3 and all those other numbers that are also magic. I mean, E is pretty cool. And pi, I mean, pi is a great number.
Pi is a great number, but pi is also just great generally as an object.
But yeah, 12 allows you to reap a tree and grow a medium into a big one, of course, if you would like to.
Yeah.
In the next turn, this is too far away. It's 3 away. 4 away.
4 away.
Which means that I would not be covering this one.
Mm-hmm.
Conversely, if you grew this one, it would be covered, which is sad. If you were to, I mean, I would be strongly thinking about growing one just to carry on getting the points, but I honestly don't know which one. Remember that the light tokens do go down, but I can't remember the order. I wish you could just click on them and see. Well, actually,
so, what are you doing?
I just like to kind of. I'm going to suggest that it would be amazing if you could just click them and then, they'd display out and it would be like, oh, these are the remaining things. Or if you hovered over it, I don't know if you can change the hover over text, but that would be ideal if you hovered over it and said the remaining things are, for example, 13, 12, 12, 11, because whether it's 13, 13, 12, or whether it's 13, 12, would make a marginal difference to what you might want to do. I mean, it's very marginal, to be honest, and it's unlikely to win you the game in this particular occasion.
Yeah, thanks, Bez. Would you reap a tree now?
I personally, So how much lights are you getting next turn? If you were to hypothetically
hang on,
reap,
where are we there?
I mean, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Oh, you'd be getting 12. But what if you reaped, hypothetically, this one and moved
Which
it
one?
down? Like the
top
one
one?
on the right to put
Oh,
it
yeah.
up. I'm not saying that's the best thing to do. I'm just saying, if you were to, just making a choice for the sake of counting. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Ooh, not quite enough for that magical 12. But if you were to reap a tree and replant it, then you'd have a cheaper medium. And then next turn with your 10, you could do a small tree for free here, because that, I think, is still worth it. And then you could do a medium for 5, which would be 8. So yes, I think I would reap a tree and plan to do a small and medium next turn. That's what I would personally do. And
Or do I just go chaotic and go no?
you could. Absolutely. The choice is yours.
What was that? What was that? That was Blind Date.
Black. The choice is yours. That's what Sir Black said all the time. Will it be your potential date?
It's candidate number
Red all
1.
the time. Will it be potential date B?
Who's behind the screen?
Who walks barefoot through who wants to take
They always had such terrible. Oh God, we need to do
it. Be contestant C, who wants to play games with you, but not mind games?
Should we do? So on Blind Date, if the question was, what board game would you be? What would your blind date answer be? I have no idea. I've just come up with the question, so now I've got to think of it.
Make your choice, and I'll ponder this. Talk people through what you're thinking, and I'll ponder what's.
No, I'm now pondering what my answer will be. Okay. I think I'm going to, if I reap that one on that side, get that back. Yeah, let's reap that back. So we're gonna collect that one. Okay. Oh, should I have done that? Oh, I'm now having buyer's regret.
I think. Okay, I've decided that I would not name one of my own games because that feels slightly egotistical. But so I'm going to go with a game that they are more likely to have heard of. And so I'm going to say I would be Double because I'm a fast mover, but at the same time I can be approachable and we can take things at your speed. And I would be your perfect match.
Okay, I'm going to go with I'd be Monopoly because I'm right up your street. I'd always like to pass go with you. And if worse comes to the worst, we can flip that table together.
Okay.
Okay, right back to
So you've done this one.
I've done that. Sorry, Brian.
You're going to you've got 2 choices, I guess.
Yeah,
this one on the bottom seems like a fine choice because in 2 turns.
I don't know why I went for that one. I probably should have gone for the one at the bottom. Actually, is what I'm thinking now.
Oh.
But I've done that one now, so that's what I've done. So it's fine.
I honestly don't know. It's honestly not clear to me. Either way, neither of them are going to be blocked next turn. Neither of them are going to be blocked in 2 turns' time. In 3 turns' time, neither of them. 4 turns. Yeah, both of them are perfectly placed and will never be blocked except by yourself. So I don't think it might literally make absolutely no difference, that particular decision. That might be one of the rare things that makes absolutely no difference.
Or should
it's too late in the game for me to start sprouting new things. This is where we probably want to stop planting new trees, I think. I mean, new seeds.
I might just play Chaos. Because it's Shall I make that one there a big
Which
one? The one
second row from the bottom, middle, like third row from
Well, the second row from the bottom seems to make more sense because it's going to block more, but not yet. It doesn't block until whenever.
And also, it will get blocked in 2 turns.
Yeah, I actually think
So you're forcing me to move my thing there, which would mean that it still gets blocked, but at least you're forcing me to do something, if you know what I mean. You're kind of forcing my hand. I don't know.
What, the one in the middle rather than the one at the top? The one at
I would
the bottom,
do the one at the bottom. Yeah, rather than the one near the top. And now you've... Oh, did we miscalculate?
Yeah.
Oh, 9, because I assume...
Yeah. Okay.
And so 6 is still enough to do 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, it only costs you 8 to grow a 2 to a 1 and then a 0 to a 1, if you know what I mean, like a small to a medium and then a seed to a small. So you could do that if you wanted. It might be a reasonable thing to do. I mean, still feels like probably the best move. And then if you were to do that, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and then you don't know if you're going to get that or not. But I could block both of these if which I might. Because I'm kind of mean like that.
You are completely mean.
So I still think it's the best of a bunch of bad options.
Thanks, Bez.
I'm sorry. I mean, yeah.
Yeah, thanks.
I honestly hope this isn't a miserable experience for you.
No, of course it's not.
Okay.
Painful in a board game sense, but no, it's fine. Oh, okay. I hovered over your name and it says you're in Thailand. You're not in Thailand currently.
No, but I changed it 2 days ago just to prepare myself.
Okay. What if I do nothing?
If you do nothing, then you'd get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, at least 6 lights, I guess. So you'd get 15, but then if I do nothing, then you'd get another 5. So yeah, you'd get 20. So I'm still incentivized to block you. So if you do nothing, then you'll get enough lights to reap and regrow next turn. But at this point, I would be thinking, what's the payoff of this? Because currently it costs you 3, and 1, 2, you're guaranteed at least 3 light from it. So I would definitely.
So I've done that.
But
I don't know if there's a payoff in going medium with any of those particularly, because that's going to be blocked.
This will get you 1 more light next turn, which it's costing you 5.
Yeah.
It gives you 1. Oh.
Yeah.
It depends how I.
Yeah, it depends on what you do.
Would make sense to assume that I reap at least one of these. So 1, 2, and then you could reap yourself 3, 4, 5.
Okay,
6.
so it might be worth it. Okay.
So you are getting more light later on, and I would also say that it's worth at this point in the game offsetting light to later on, because in the last couple of turns you will have a shortage of light. So yeah, having seen you do that, I'm going to reap one of these two for sure. And I'm going to probably do this one for the moment. And grow this one, because then that's blocking you. And I mean, yeah. Although now is the point when I'm thinking, okay, I'm starting to run out of trees, and so I'm still getting 10 light. But at this point, I'm thinking maybe I don't reap. What if I didn't reap? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So because I don't go above the limit, I am actually just going to end my turn. So, yeah, and I'm thinking in my head whether I will be able to grow this big one. Maybe 2, 3. I don't know. But you've got 9 light.
I do.
And if you were to do nothing, you would get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, which would mean that you waste 1, which isn't too bad. I mean, you could theoretically just buy 1 seed arbitrarily to avoid literally wasting 1, if I've done my maths right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And then at least that puts you on to 20. So then you can really start hopefully reaping every turn thereafter.
Is there any point in buying a seed?
I mean, not really. It would maybe be marginally satisfying, and it doesn't cost you anything if you're doing nothing else. It's like free seed.
Okay, right, I'll buy a seed. There isn't any point in me doing anything.
So yeah, you're on. We've
20.
done.
Okay. Yeah, you can stay there.
So at this point, next turn, if you were to grow this one would be blocking me, which is quite nice. Potentially. Yeah, even if I grow that into a 3, actually, it would still be blocking me. So that is quite a nice thing for.
And it keeps the blocking of the middle one as well. One, hang on, what's that?
In terms of what to reap,
1, 2,
this
3.
one here is threatening to block me.
I know. That's the
whereas this one's
one that is not
to block yourself.
I know. That's what I was looking at as well.
Do you feel like you're starting to wrap your head around it, though?
Yeah, I'm not really. I think I'd be better with it in person.
Mm-mm.
Can spend. All right, let's grow you. Oh no, I need to buy you. It's very annoying that you have to buy them back off the board to get them back out again.
Yeah, I mean, obviously in real life you just kind of shortcut that and say, well, I'm spending 12, and then you move your big one and then knock away your medium one. But again, I feel like it should, rather than being from the board to this kind of mid-house area and then from the mid-house area to the big board, I kind of wish it was just from your little board to the big board. Do you know what I mean?
Yes. So you haven't got that kind of middle part. Yes.
Yeah. If you were to stop here, it would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, which would put you up to 19. So you could stop here without wasting anything. Conversely, you could also grow this one of these two to a medium, I guess. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10, 11. I mean, the question is whether you're going to be able to reap this in time for it to be worthwhile. And that would still leave you enough light, I think, to reap next turn. So without doing the arithmetic for like every single turn hereafter, it feels like a reasonable move. Because you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 turns left, and you've only got 1, 2 mediums. So you probably want at least 1 medium. So you might as well buy it now to start getting the extra light from it, I think.
There's a lot of planning ahead, isn't there?
Yeah, it's all about the planning ahead. And it really forces that on you and makes it obvious with the sun movement and the I'm going to put this on, and in 2 turns, this is going to happen. In 3 turns, this is going to happen. And yeah, now I am in a position where I'm thinking, well, I'm not actually getting the stuff I really want. Is there actually time for me to grow another tree? So how many turns are there? Turn 2, 3, 4, 5. So I'm not thinking about light efficiency. I'm literally just thinking, will I get points for this? And if I were to theoretically, I think putting something theoretically here might be a good move. I am going to make a seed there. And because this is going to get blocked anyway, I'm going to reap and regrow up here and end that turn. And oh, I did it 1 turn early. Darn, I totally messed that up. So at this point, I think I want to end my turn. Yeah. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah. I messed that up slightly. So
what have you got there? You're going to block me when it gets to there.
Points are 40. 70.
I know what. Yes, I know. I can see what the
well,
points
I
are.
hadn't looked for a while. So you will be blocking yourself. So because you
on the next one, yeah.
Potentially going here threatens to block me on the next one.
Which one, sorry?
The one on the left.
Okay.
If you grow that, you threaten to block me on the next one, which would be nice. Yeah, I think that might be a good one to.
And reaping the one on the outside rather than the inside.
Yeah, I would do that. And there's still 4 tokens. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There are 5 trees there, but the one on the top left, you never grew that to get points. You just grew it to get a little bit of light later on.
So if I reap that one in the bottom
and
then turn that one into a big tree, well done.
Yeah, that seems
5.
sensible. And now with 4 light,
3. Yeah.
Nothing's going to help you next turn, and there's nothing you can do right now that you couldn't do next turn, because in theory you could grow this into a little one. Oh no. Yeah, actually that would... No, you can't grow it into a medium one. Never mind. Yeah, there's literally nothing you can do that's useful, because the only thing you can do is throw a seed, and that's probably not worth it at this point. So you're still getting 12, which is a really good number. You just got 12 lights from photosynthesis.
I did.
Stuff by Bez got 6 lights.
Is there any point in me growing up the little tree in the top left corner to medium?
Let's see how many turns are left. You've got 16. Well, including this one. 1, 2, 3, 4.
4.
So on the final turn, so you've got 3 turns before the final reaping, and for the final reaping, you just reap them and then you don't regrow them.
Okay,
so you only need 8 lights right at the end. So the other 3 turns, the question is, are you going to be able to reap and regrow literally every turn? And if you are, then yeah, there would be points. But that requires perfect turnouts, and so next turn, like, that's probably going to be blocked. So it'll be 1, 2, 3. Well, assuming you reap, which you'd want to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, let's say. No, I don't think. Yeah, I would just reap and build up at this point, personally. And it is kind of sad, this part of the game, because the board kind of finishes with not much left on it, if people are playing well.
Yeah, but okay. So we've got 3 goes left, essentially. 1, 2, 3, yeah.
After this, yes.
Yeah. So if I reap that one, but then that will open up that for light. No, it wouldn't. Okay. So I really want to reap the one in the middle, don't I?
The one in the middle. Interesting. Why?
Because that's the one. Oh, hang on. Let me take that off of the. Hang on, cancel. Because from a light point of view, and you getting light, that's not going to make very much difference, is it, to you?
That's true. So you're thinking about being aggressive to me. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, I could totally see that.
I'm just thinking, because if I reap the one on the out, yeah,
I'm
if I reap,
probably going to reap.
You're going to win. It doesn't make any difference. But I'm just like thinking margins of winnage.
No, yeah, I get it. Like, I'm probably, if you were to keep the one on the bottom,
yeah,
I would get rid of this. So, and I'm at the point where I'm probably going to get to 20 lights anyway. So it's probably not going to destroy my lights economy. Conversely, if you did get rid of that, it would open up the one just behind it, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
You would at least
then that would be
one extra light for you yourself. I mean, the question is whether threatening to take away 3 of my lights is better than giving yourself 1 light. And the 3 lights is just a threat. So, and I've already got a lot of lights, like I'm at 18.
You're such a bragger about your light sources. You so brag.
But my main problem is number of trees on the board rather than light that I have at the minute, if you know what I mean.
So if I go that one to a medium.
And it's worth noting that, yeah, because of the way the things come down, now the outside ring and the almost outside ring give you very similar points, whereas the central 7 still give you 19. So we've just not done any reaping in the middle. But it's still only going to come down by 1. But it's just because, yeah, we started off with so many outside things, and we've just not. So, yeah, I'm thinking if I do that, then, well, firstly, I am probably. Oh no, I don't want to do that because I can't grow that medium into a big because you're blocking me. So that's slightly sad. So now I'm thinking maybe I will put something in this very central space, because now I'm thinking small, medium, big, and then I can reap it, hopefully. So that might be able to work out. How much light will I get? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So I would be wasting 2 light if I stopped at this point. So maybe I buy the medium tree just to avoid buying the light, to wasting the light, because I would be buying the medium tree later. So even though I can't use it straight away, at least it's a useful thing. And I'm going to be turning this one into medium, which does threaten you. And then to avoid shading myself, I'm going to be bloom, buy the big tree back and go bloom and end my turn. So yeah, you've got 1, 2, 3 turns left, including this one. So you definitely want to get your big. Oh, you've only got 1 big tree on the board, Car.
Because we reaped it on the last go.
7. I thought you had the light to grow it back up. I mean, this one here means that you would be getting 3 more light, because otherwise it's completely blocked by my medium tree. So.
But then you're probably going to reap and grow that into a big tree anyway.
No, but I won't get a chance before the light generation happens, because you play and then light happens and then you play again. So you will be guaranteed 3 more light by doing that. And if you were to stop at this point, you would get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, putting you onto 14, which might be a reasonable move. I'm not sure. I mean, I'm not saying it's definitely the best move, but I think that is the move that I would be inspired to make personally. Just passing at this point and planning to do all. Or you could also.
Done. Okay.
Just points out that next turn, actually this is the penultimate turn, so I'm clearly going to reap one of these things.
Yeah.
But you don't know which one, so I've got a slight advantage because I can react to you.
I say I don't think it really makes much difference to me in the scoring wise here.
Like, you can only reap one of them, and then out of the trees, one of them's guaranteed to get you light, the other one isn't, but either way you will have 1 tree in shade and 1 without, so I would probably reap the one that, is only uncovering 2 if you were to put it up there. But at least you're giving yourself 1 more light, are you?
Which one?
No, I think it's literally doesn't make any
I
difference.
don't think it. Yeah, I don't think it makes any difference between them, does it?
I don't think it does,
Unless you're saying
because
I'm not.
well, yeah. In theory, looking at the points for the very outside, it's 12 points. For the one space in, it's 14 points. So that might be a reason to grow this one.
That one.
Yeah. If you think you'll be able to get the 2 extra points. Like you
Depends
might.
on what you do. But
Honestly, I haven't worked out that far ahead.
I was gonna say which tree I reap which tree I reap? Which tree I reap probably doesn't make any difference, does it?
Well, we can only reap one of them.
Oh yeah, I can only reap that one. Because you are the only one not in shade.
So then it's a question of, do you go for the one that's guaranteed to bring you one more light, or do you go for the one that's going to get you potentially 2 more points?
Well, I'm going to go for them with more points. It's not going to make very much difference to me, I don't think, particularly. So
what's my own? 13 points. So I am able to. So I would reap this one because that one's under contest. So I get that 14 points, but it's still 14 points because it doesn't go down by a point every single time, if you know what I mean. I buy that back, and I go there, and I end my turn. And now, I'm on 7 points, which does mean that I can only afford to reap one of them, which I did not calculate that. But, yeah, because of that, I'm going to do that tree. And, yeah, that does, if we had calculated that I would be one short, then it would have been better to do that one. But hindsight is, of course, the year of the pandemic.
Right, so I'll reap that one. Oh.
Well, the year when the pandemic became a thing. I mean, COVID's still a thing, sadly.
COVID is still a thing, yeah. Nearly made it to 100.
You will make it to 100 because you get 1 point for every free lights that you have at the very end.
I'm just saying, I've nearly made it to 100. So,
but you will make it to 100.
Yeah, but I'm saying I'm nearly at 100. I'm not there. I'm nearly there. There's nothing else really of worth to do, is there?
And at this point, on the final turn, doing anything else would reduce your score.
Yeah, that's
because, well, unless you spent literally just one for giggles. I mean, you could get, I think, 1 seed for free. Just, hey, free seed.
No, it's fine. Okay.
You're passing up on the free seed.
Yeah,
so you made it to 100.
Yay! 100 points. It's not terrible.
It is definitely not terrible. I mean, you did a lot better than most people on Board Game Arena.
Not be placing them in a direct line. I need to be doing them all. That was my first mistake.
Yeah. Can I? How do we go? How do you? Oh, I was hoping to have the replay thing.
You can at the side under our names. The side left hand. Yeah, then replay. It's replay last moves. Oh, I've got replay the game. So mine says so when I'm on the bar at the
Well, you
right-hand side, it says replay game.
if I go to games, oh no, I thought if I go to the games played,
I can't
there we go.
believe we've already
Replay, view game replay. There we go.
I can't believe we've already put Thailand on there.
And so if I were to go to the end of the game to see how it goes, yeah, I mean, that was a good move. I think at that point, growing up to a 2 would have been slightly better. I think that here, growing in a straight line, which was the next thing you as you said, I would have done it slightly towards an angle. But of course, putting it in the middle straight line from the corner means you get towards the middle, whereas at an angle means you're only on the second ring. But I think there was an interesting fight on the bottom left, but you ended up losing out for a few turns, which did set you back quite a bit. Because at this point, I'm only getting one more light, but then
later on you get loads more.
This one, it's 3 versus 5. Yeah, this is where you really got hurt. I think that that was a big thing, and there is a snowball effect in this game, to be honest, that does kind of keep hurting you more and more.
Yeah.
It might be that, like, after that, like, the game would have just been so different. At this point, can't remember, did you make that 2 on the top right into a big tree?
No.
I would have probably made that one into a big tree just to get 3 more light. And then, because at this point, you're giving yourself 2 more light, but 1 turn offsets, if you know what I mean. And then you would be doing the seeding here, if you know what I mean. If you had grown the top right into a big tree. I think that the big tree at the bottom was a really nice threat, and I think this is where, you got 1 more light than me, which is a good sign. I mean, I think that the amount of light income is a reasonable thing of who's winning. I mean, if you see someone who, frankly, reaps a tree before the end of the second round, then either the game's gone quite unusual, like, at least before the end of turn 9, let's say. If you do it before turn 9, then you're just, why are you getting rid of your trees if you don't have your light source yet? But it is all about generating the light source, and at this point, I think you had worked out the maths behind it, and you've done a good job. I think also here, you got slightly more light than me, 11 versus 10, because your stuff's on the right, and you've got a nice bit of blocking going on. That was a good move on the bottom right, where you blocked me quickly. And then again, you got more light, 12 versus 10. It is interesting because it's about the short term versus the long term. Because in the short term, every single light that you get allows you. Yeah, so I mean, that is both the joy and problem with any engine building game, I think, ultimately, and this is definitely an engine building game. So here, the left is my strong side, and this is where maybe I started having slightly too few trees. I maybe should have grown another thing at this point, which was a slight mistake on my part. So I think that on this final round, like, it was pretty solid play. Getting stuff that people that would although now on retrospect, I'm wondering whether doing the 3-1 down. Oh no, you did block me anyway, so that's also totally fine. And that allows you to. I think that's all very well played. it was just at the end. My advice was really bad to advise you to on the left, where you would have gotten potentially 2 more points if you had managed to reap there, but that was assuming that I'd played well enough to reap both of my trees, which I really wanted to do. But of course, because I didn't, then you kind of lost out on, I think it was like 10 points or something. So in the final analysis, I get my nice little tree in the middle. Just for the record, in 3 or 4 players, the very middle slot does get more points, but that doesn't happen with 2 players.
Oh, interesting.
But yeah, it could have been 112, but yeah, was. But what did you think of the game? Was it enjoyable? Was it something that you would like to play again?
I'd play it again. I do quite like an engine builder game anyway, so I would play it again. Jess has said she's going to play against me at some point.
Do you think that engine building games typically have this sort of issue of rich get richer? Would you agree with that?
Mm. And also people who've played it before, so they know the mechanisms on how to do it. I think I've not particularly played... No, I don't think I've played an engine builder where actually it's got that balance that if you don't know the tricks and the things that work with each other and all those kind of things, if you don't know that, then actually you can compete with somebody relatively easily. They are always, you need to have played the game a few times to kind of understand it.
And it's not like you're going to stay 2 points behind them.
No.
You're going to could be like 1 point behind and then
10 and then suddenly 20. Yeah, that's what normally happens in an engine builder, isn't it? You kind of go, how have they got all those coins or all of that resource?
And photosynthesis is particularly brutal because there isn't any luck. There's no tiles coming out with different possibilities or cards. So there's none of, I was hoping for this thing, which I'm expecting to come around.
But then it didn't happen.
Yeah, because in theory, if I spent enough time, then I should be able to predict literally everything. And I do really like it as a turn-based thing, especially 2 players, because when you log on, it's like, okay, you get to take turn, and then you get light, and then you take another turn.
Yeah,
whereas with 3 players, you log on, and then you take a turn, and then it goes to the next person.
Oh, wait, well. I quite like it when you have a few, with the turn player games, Railroad Inc.'s the same, where you get to do a lot of goes in one tasty moment, and then you wait for everybody else, and then you get another lot of goes in one tasty moment.
Yeah, I think I worked out that with Railroad Inc., you can finish the game even if you only log on like 5 times.
Yeah, it's quite nice. It does play really well because of that, from that turn-based point of view.
And I think although that's only if you play, only if next time you log on, everyone else has taken their move, which is also why 2 players, it's quite nice, because next time you're pinged, they must have taken their move. Yeah. And any simultaneous action, pardon me, game is kind of like that. Although with Railroad Inc., it is quite a big chunk of things because you've got a few different dice to consider. And one action feels more meaningful, I would say, in Railroad Inc. than Roll to the Top Journeys, for example, which is a nice... I think that's in beta just now. It's a nice little, roll stuff and then put stuff on top of it. Stuff on top of it has to be the same or higher. So it's that push your luck of, well, do I take the 8? The dice can be any numbers, so they can go up to 20 theoretically.
Oh, okay.
So, but like, there's different sizes of dice, if you know what I mean. So it's like, do I take the 8, hoping that I'll be able to keep building up on that one in that column, or do I not even play that because I think it's too early and I'm worried about not having high enough dice in the next however many turns? Do you know what I mean?
Oh, I'm
so it's that kind of slow and steady versus hoping for stuff. And you can combine the dice, but then it slows you down later on. And if you've played like a 20 and then you've had to combine dice to start going like 25 on top of it for some reason, and then because you can't get the exact number you want because maybe you only had a 19 and a 6 to add on top, and then you need to start adding even more dice. So it's a nice little thing. But yeah, because you're only adding like maybe 4 numbers each turn, it doesn't feel as meaningful as Railroad Ink, I would say, for turn-based.
Okay.
We have been chatting for a long time. This was definitely a bit longer than I was planning. My priority today is sorting out my journey to Norwich.
Yeah.
Which is something that I wrote that we would talk about. And I said we would talk about yesterday, which we did. And we talked about my playtesting.
Okay.
And I said we'd talk about tomorrow and maybe about organization. My organization's bad, and I think that's enough talk about that.
Have you got your train ticket at least?
No, I need to get that. And what I wanted to say was that I started putting up I did put up an ad for trying to get someone to stay here, and I made it to friends only post originally, but then I wasn't getting enough people who were actually doing it, because lots of people said, oh, if only this was 4 years ago, I totally would have done it if I wasn't already settled in London, or, oh, if only I wasn't 3,000 miles away, I would totally do that, which is, still
That's a fair comment, isn't it?
It's nice sentiment, but,
I posted it to one of my friends, but
thank you very much.
Yeah,
I made it a public post, and there was one person that I met yesterday about it. One person that I had a WhatsApp video call, who's in Malta, but then they were talking about, oh, I could come over, and then like, if you're happy for me to stay for like a couple of days, and then I'll go back. So there's no obligation, but I would feel a bit bad doing that and making someone have a flight over, if you know what I mean. If I were to then say, oh, no. But there is one person that I really like the sound of, that they said that they'd come over for lunch on Tuesday.
Okay, well, that works. So what have you picked? What ball game you're playing against them?
Did you see my thing on the board? Well, I'd present a number of options, and I'd say I wouldn't show photosynthesis, because that feels a bit much unless I know that they're very happy to.
Yeah, no, you need an easy game.
So so yesterday, actually, when I met the person, we played a game about quickly matching words to pictures, but never words to pictures.
Yeah,
and I won both, but the second time they were clearly in it, and they had about 70% of what I had. So they're good, they're quick thinking, and then
they can hold their own.
Yeah, and then we played a couple of games of Connect for Spin, which I think you've played that.
No, I haven't, because no, I've not.
And so that's the one that goes clacky, and it's got.
I do love a Connect 4.
But it's really nice. It's not perfect information. It's perfect information with it spinning. So there's a 50-50 chance of which side it lands on at the end. And that's a fun thing. I genuinely think that wavelength is a really good choice. And I would like to do something which facilitates conversation in that way.
Yeah.
I might suggest Fable, because that's like a storytelling thing, which is quite nice. So we work together and it's cooperative, and then you see what's on the other person's mind. I don't know. I'd kind of decide like half an hour before kind of.
Yes, I know you.
When I say half an hour, I might even be exaggerating.
It will be about 3 seconds beforehand when you grab the game.
No, it'll be like a good 5 minutes before.
Really? Not like, oh my God, I need to remember a game. Which one? Oh yeah, this one.
Yeah, 5 minutes before they arrive. Anyway, we were going to talk about tomorrow. Tomorrow is Diceni. I am going to do a very quick stream. Tomorrow will be about less than 10 minutes for sure, about 5 minutes. Maybe I'll kind of be like, oh, this is what's going on. Hey, we're starting. So if people are watching, then expect that. And I am looking forward to sharing games with people, and I will also print. I'll photocopy
please, please.
Twice. Once for you, and then you can take it and then photocopy it yourself, and then cut it out, and then once for Scott to have. And if Jess wants it, you can photocopy it and give it to Jess, right?
Yeah, that's fine.
And then that will be good. That's like the 3rd edition of the thing. I mean, when it was at Terracon, it was only the 2nd edition. So in theory, it's not changed that much. But I did do a lot of thinking in between the 2 editions.
Have you got a copy to play that you're bringing with you?
No, I wasn't going to, because it didn't. I don't want to show it at Diceni.
Okay, fair enough.
Diceni feels like it's more casual people, and the people who are there, I feel like if I saw, like, there are the lovely board games in bed. Have you heard of this? It's a couple. It's 2 people who they've got a small child now. I think, can't remember if
is that from all the game playing in bed, is it?
Well, technically no, because it had to be artificially.
Anyway. Oh, okay, all right. Well, we didn't need to go that deep. That was just a pun. It was fine. It was just innuendo. Like, I didn't need to know the actual process of making that baby.
But what was I going to say? So, like,
they're board games in bed.
If I saw them, then, like, the thing that I'd really want to show them would be probably # Drawn Together game, because I don't think I had that last year.
No, you didn't.
Diceni.
No, it wasn't a Diceni. No.
Okay, amazing. So, like, that's my brand new, hey, it's not even out yet game for if someone says, hey, this is cool that you've got like 7 new games in the last year, but I want even more. I want to see what's next.
Yeah, Drawn Together came about in between Diceni and
UK Games Expo.
Yeah, and I don't think you didn't have it. You did not have it at KCON.
I mean, I might have had a few sheets, but maybe
no,
not.
No, you didn't. You didn't, because we didn't. You always play.
No, I did play it at KCON. I played it with Dave one night. I definitely played it with Dave one night. I had it with me. I just never played it.
When did we meet in Cambridge? Because you had it in Cambridge.
I can't remember. It was before UK Games Expo, I think.
It was definitely before UK Games Expo.
So yeah, I think that's when it had just started. Anyway, so the point is that's a new game. Also, I was really hoping to have some new stuff come in the past week, but there have been problems with the printer. Apparently, there have been personal issues there, and it will totally be in time for UK Games Expo.
So what have we got?
It's the same stuff as Aircon.
Okay.
So it's exactly the same stuff as Aircon. I'm just going to take maybe 10 copies of each thing, 15 copies of each thing.
And a couple of banners this time.
Yes. I will take 2 banners. That I'll have my rucksack with about 100 odd games in it. And when I say like 15 copies of each thing, like that's
I know it's a lot. It's a lot of stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. Because but yeah, that I'm looking forward to it, and I am going to maybe have the L deck like just on the side. And
are you reprinting Complementing Compliments?
Yes, that's one of the games that should have been available this weekend. Okay. So this weekend it should have been the 4 games. Let me look up the Kickstarter. It would have been it would have been 5 games. It would have been a game about drawing creatures complementing the drawings and complementing the complements. A game about quickly matching words to pictures, but never words to words or pictures to pictures. A game about counting cat shapes and colors that keeps getting trickier. A game about cute comical creatures and trying to identify them after some noises. And a game about wee whimsical creatures and trying to identify them after some mixed noises. So all of those 5 things were to be printed as boxes, if you know what I mean. And I had submitted them in time, I promise, to arrive last Tuesday. But then because the printer had problems and they apologized to me, and like it was like, yeah, sorry, have we got
copies of
So it's basically just what was there at
have we got copies of matching words exactly 3 times?
Yes.
Shall I
well, we've got the beetroots.
We've got some vegetables. And shall I bring, if I can find them, some whiteboards for the matching words games? Then we don't need to do bits of paper.
Yes, that's a great idea. Do you need some whiteboard markers?
Yeah, can you bring the whiteboard markers?
Yes, I will. I was going to say I will find them, and
If you,
I am looking for them.
we're still on stream, right? We might
Yes.
need to say bye before.
I mean, I will hopefully find them in the next couple of minutes.
Okay, if you don't find them, I can have a little look and see what I can.
If I don't find them, we can grab some whiteboard markers from the shop.
Yeah, it's not far from the works. The works is around the corner, isn't it? It's fine, actually. We can just run to the works.
It's fine.
Okay, that's fine. All right, I'll bring my whiteboard.
I feel like I should wash my hair because, I mean, it will be like half hour or so, but like it would be good to wash it and stuff because it's been a while.
Okay, well, you need to do what you need to do.
Yes, I will. Anyway, that's the big thing. I've sent stuff for categorical to Jack. That I'm excited about that. That's coming out. And at this point, Josie, I've talked a lot with you.
We have spoken a lot.
Question of the day.
Ooh,
question of the day. Here's a little question before we go on our way. Do you have a question that you would like to ask me?
Oh God, put me on the spot. I think I've already used that question with you. So,
what was the question? I mean, if people haven't heard you ask me it,
I always ask favorite dinosaur. That's my standard question. And what's your favorite carnivorous dinosaur? And then what's your favorite herbivore dinosaur?
Is Stegosaurus a carnivorous dinosaur?
No, they're herbivore. They're a herbivore.
Oh, I mean, I like Diplodocus and Stegosaurus, but they're both herbivores.
They are. They both hang out eating vegetables together.
I mean, if I'm thinking carnivorous, I mean, like the T-Rex is a standard thing, and then I'm thinking like the wee Velociraptor, but I'm thinking, I'm not one of these people who, as you can tell by the fact that both of these were the main characters in Jurassic Park, I'm not like a big
dinosaur fan.
Yeah.
Pterodactyls. Pterodactyls are carnivorous. They're quite a good dinosaur.
Oh, I mean, yeah, I do like.
Yeah,
they've got like the little bats.
And they've got big old wings. Yeah.
I mean, yeah, you know what? I do want to say that, but then part of me wants to not say that because you mentioned it. But then there's another. Let me.
You're now going to look up dinosaurs, aren't you?
What's your favorite one?
So my favorite herbivore is a Diplodocus because I like the fact that they're so big, and and I like them since I was a kid. And then I like velociraptors because they work in packs, and we're not 100% sure if they were covered in feathers or not. So I think that that's kind of a interesting idea that they could have been a feathered reptile or bird-like creature.
There's a dinosaur called an Archaeopteryx.
Oh, what do they do?
I'm allowed to show this because it's Wikipedia, so it's all kinds of common stuff. But that's just quite a cool name, the Archaeopteryx. And this is like what the bones definitely looked like. I mean, we don't know what color it was or anything, but you can see the head. I mean, for all we know, maybe that was totally blue. Maybe it was aquamarine. Maybe it was purple. Maybe it was red.
Or maybe it was a color we don't even know.
Maybe it was beige.
And maybe it was beige. Oh, the exciting beige dinosaur. Yeah. The Blandosaurus, yes.
But Archaeopteryx, that's what I'm saying. It is definitely a flying carnivorous dinosaur.
Beautiful.
And yes, sometimes it's called the Urvogel, primeval bird. Yeah. And so, well, I say it's definitely, but I think it was. Someone who knows more about dinosaurs should confirm.
Is it carnivorous? Yes. Yeah. It wasn't very big, was it?
Apparently not. I mean, yeah, it's very small. It's basically like a modern bird, almost.
Yeah, like chicken-sized.
Well, coloration. Oh, a color study. They were able to detect the structure of melanosomes and 95% likelihood to be black. And this is an artist's restoration of what it might have looked like. That's actually quite pretty. Archaeopteryx.
That's your bird.
That's my bird. Over to you. What are you up to? You can share. But if you want to, I am going to find out the find the whiteboard markers, pack with games and stuff. I've got a few snacks. I did buy a couple of things yesterday. There's some fiery prawn cocktail crisps. I did actually sneak ahead and have a couple of them. And there's definitely no milk or anything in them.
Okay.
I find that normally meaty crisps don't have.
I know. What is that about?
Non-vegan. Well, it's good that they don't have non-vegan.
Yeah, but
stuff.
then you have vegan-y, like salt and vinegar crisps. Quite often have some milk in them.
Well, I found that it's the cheese and onion that are bad, and that makes sense. When I say
cheese
bad,
and onion makes sense. Cheese and onion makes sense, but I find it really weird when salt and vinegar have milk in them. That makes no sense to me.
Yeah, I wouldn't have thought that needed milk.
Well, no, but apparently it does, and some brands, not all brands.
Then I'll sort out my travel, sort out the Airbnb, and yeah, go. And hopefully I'll be in time for dinner, but I'm not sure.
Okay.
We'll see what happens, and that is what I'm doing. And on the train, I will no doubt do a bit of work on the laptop to try and sort out stuff for Jack, because categorical, even though everyone's kind of knows that, so there's not loads of stuff to learn, hopefully. There are 2 games that are coming out, but I will share the rules with you.
Okay.
And the auction game, I'm wondering whether I should bring it so we can play it after, so you can
That
learn
would be good.
it.
Yeah, that would be good.
Will Jess be sticking around after? Wait, is that too much private information? Should we be saying that publicly?
No, I don't think Jess would mind. She's staying. She's staying after the thing. She's getting a lift with me. So, like,
now
seriously,
the world knows all this information.
They do know all this information. So anybody who's watching this will know that there will be 2 people traveling in a car together to Norwich and back again tomorrow.
Yes. So if someone had a vendetta against people whose name started with J, then they would be able to waylay you.
They would be able to waylay, but they'd have to know my car and everything, and the route I'm going to take, and the time I'm going.
Well, they might just, I mean, I'm not going to carry on this thread of conversation because I feel like it could go down a really dark.
Okay, all right. Well, let's hope it doesn't go down a dark alley. Yes. So they're getting a lift with me, so they have to.
Yeah, and
they are
people. To that hypothetical person, why are you discriminating against people whose name starts with J?
Yeah, obviously something bad happened with people with J in their lives.
I did ask people, totally hypothetically. So I've asked this question publicly, Josie. Totally hypothetically, if they're like when a company makes a second edition of a game and they say, like, we're going to do a bit of rebranding, we're going to redo the art and reissue it. It's like a second edition. Yes. Let's talk hypothetically that something like that was going to happen with Yogi, and Yogi and Yogi Guru were going to come off the market, hypothetically.
Yep. Hypothetically.
And then I was like, that would be an opportunity for me to change it and potentially remix it for the second edition. What percentage of the cards do you think you would want to be new?
Oh, I suppose that all depends on if I'm getting a new copy or have not had a copy before. So if I've not had a copy before, I probably don't care because I don't know what was in there beforehand.
That's a fair point.
But
like if you have a new copy, would you feel like, oh, it's exactly the same?
And they see that
if I buy the new thing if I want the art, or conversely, would it be worse if there was even one new card? Because then you'd be like, hey, Bez is kind of forcing me to buy it for this completionist thing for this one new card.
That would feel evil to do it for one card. That's like really taking the pee out of people, isn't it? Here's one card. I suppose if the artwork wasn't new and it was similar to the old
artwork is imagine hypothetically.
I know. So if the artwork is completely new if it's completely new, then one card wouldn't make that difference. If the artwork was old and it's one card, then it makes a difference because then that's that completionist side. Whereas if it's all new artwork, the completionist side is already going, oh my god, I need it because it's a completionist thing. I would like a certain percentage of new cards. I would say maybe.
Like, do you want to put a number on it rather than
a percentage? I'm going,
thing for the record, I think had 55 cards.
Okay.
Yeah, let me actually check in the box.
I'm going to say 25% new cards.
What does it say on the back of the box? 54 cards.
I'm going to say, I want 25% new cards.
Okay, so if there were 60 cards in the final thing, hypothetically speaking, you would want 15 of them to be new.
Yeah, I'm just thinking because there's a familiarity with Yogi of what's going to come up and all those kind of things.
I mean, those were good cards. I wouldn't want to redo like half of them. That feels like too much to me.
Yeah, whereas you want a certain element of surprise, so something new to kind of, which, having 25%, then you've got 75% familiar, 15% enough to just give you that kind of like, that's a new thing to do,
And of course, this is like definitely not an announcement. It's just a total.
No, it's just type of hypothetical question.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. But is there anything that you want to share? Anything that you want to do? Something that you need to do? So please share. I promise I care.
What am I doing today? I've got to change the cat litters. Woo! The weather is nice. I've got to hang a red dress on the line. Don't know what I would need that for. Hang some red stuff on the line, and so basically chores.
I didn't organize any red clothes around this. I'm just going to have to get the clothes.
You have to not wear red. Like what?
Well, I'm just going to have to use the clothes that I happen to have, which will happen to be red.
I know.
But I won't get to wear necessarily something in particular. Do we
know what the weather's doing tomorrow? I haven't even looked. Do we know if it's nice?
That's a good question. But we will be indoors.
I know, but like it'd be nice to know that if I went outside there was sunshine on, or do I need to bring a big old raincoat?
Well, apparently Sunday it is unlikely to rain. It's likely to be around 17 degrees, which is a little bit chilly.
I mean, there's me going, that's quite warm, and you're going, that's quite. Love it.
I mean,
my house is 10 degrees, Bez. My house is 10 degrees. So as soon as you go, it's 17, I'm like, that is positively tropical.
I'm going to check what my place is. My place is currently 20 degrees.
Oh my god, you're like double the amount than I am. Okay, that's fine.
I am turning off the heating properly because I've had it on, but I am about to leave, so it's going to. But yeah, to be honest, I have it on like except for when it gets to proper summer. I mean, last year during what people called a heat wave, I was still sleeping in a jumper.
I don't know how. I just don't. Yeah. I mean, I have all intentions.
One night where I didn't put on a duvet.
One night. See, I have all intentions of visiting you in Thailand, but then I keep on thinking, oh my God, how hot is it going to be? And will I even cope?
I mean, do you not like it when it's above 30 degrees?
No, I don't.
You don't?
No, I don't. I go to a sauna.
What's your ideal temperature?
British, where you need a little cardi.
Like 17?
No, like, so it's summer.
22.
Summer, but there's a breeze. One of those. Like, do I need the cardi on? Oh no, it's fine. I can take the cardi off. That's my temperature.
We're talking like 26 maybe.
Yeah, we're talking not height of summer. We're talking, either side of that height of summer, kind of,
Okay.
Yeah. I like it warm, but not roasty.
Recap and wrap up before we finish up. So basically, I showed a bunch of pictures of me playing games and stuff.
That's such a good picture.
Thank you. We talked about oh my gosh, you'd played D&D and
Battle Sheep.
Yeah, thank you very much. We had a long conversation about that. I've not been doing my notes today. We played the whole game of Photosynthesis. I did try my best to teach, but clearly I was a terrible teacher. I failed. this feels like the first game that I lost because, you
terrible.
know, but hopefully, you know, you'll have learned enough to now
Go and
play
play it.
against other people
Yep.
and stand your own against random people on Board Game
Yep.
Arena.
I'm going to go see if I can find some randomers.
And do you think that's going to be something that you do today? Maybe play a game of Photosynthesis and see how you
I
get
might
on.
do. I might put a little, it's one, you know, just one that I can log into every now and again, not a live one, but yeah.
Yeah, like what's your like once every day or once every 2 days kind of thing?
Yeah, it is. This week's been really busy and not the best week for me, so I've not been logging in particularly.
Yeah, once every 2 days has the advantage. It can go up to like 5 days, I think. So if you have to skip like a long weekend, and that's totally fine, which is nice.
Yeah.
And you don't have to stress. We played Photosynthesis, then we talked about dinosaurs, and we talked about you know, whiteboards and
going to
yogi,
Norwich.
and we're totally hypothetical, you know, how many cards would you like changed? How many cards would you like changed if you're in the audience? I'm curious. For me,
Yeah.
I feel like if I were a consumer, hypothetically, I'm trying to think what game I have that I can imagine in a similar vein where there's content, but it's going to replace something. Because, I mean, obviously, something like a trading card game, it's in addition, so it's not a replacement, if you know what I mean.
Mm-hmm.
So that's very different. But, like, what... Can you give me an example of another hypothetical game that's not Yogi?
Where you could change stuff. That's what I'm actually looking at my shelves going, what
you
game?
know what, like, you know, Crazy Farmers and the Clotus Electriques.
Okay, yes, I have played that as well.
And that's also on board game, and you've got your special powers, and then the question is, okay, if you were to totally redo it, it's like, yeah, I think 25-30% might be like, oh, this is really fresh, and even if I like the original, it's going to bring me back, because that percentage is going to make me think, oh.
And I think also new artwork as well could do that, because, you know, because if you didn't like the previous artwork, or you prefer the new artwork, and all those
do really like the artwork for like Crazy Farmers and the Clotus Electriques, but you know, they could do something very similar and make it even better. I don't know.
They might do.
Oh, speaking of nice artwork, I'm going to give a very quick shout out to my friend David Brain, whose game is coming out, I believe, in Chile very soon. It's called Expedition to 5X. It started off, the whole gag was that it's a 5X game. So you can exploit, exterminate, expand. What's the other fourth one?
Explore.
Explore, thank you. And you get to excavate. So basically, in this game, it was originally a tiny little card game where you just had 5 cards, and then it was like, okay, expand means that you bid on one of the things in the middle. Exploit means that you're trying to get more resources. Exterminate means you steal stuff from people who played a particular card, and excavate means you return your played cards back to your hand, if you know what I mean. And then it's become a little bit meatier, but it's still a fairly quick game. It's all about that mind games, and it's, Planet 5X, and it's got this beautiful artwork on it. Anyway, don't know why I didn't felt the need to share it. It's like, I've got stuff going on as well. Check out my games, but that's a good game, and I like my friends' games as well. Share, spread the word. I'm going to say goodbye, if that's okay, Josie.
Absolutely.
Thank you very much, everyone. I need to rush, otherwise we could be chatting all day. And I think that someday we will be together for a long time. I'm stuffed by beds in all of those places, and we'll spend days together and play games. And Josie, if people would like to find you, where would you like to be found?
So you can find Meeple Gayming, which is my gaming group, which is LGBTQ plus and inclusive gaming group. So we only meet in disabled accessible venues, and there's no charge and all those kind of things. So we try and keep it as inclusive as possible on everything. So you can find me there, and then you can also find me on Instagram as well as Meeple Gayming. So yeah.
Nice. And so, check out all those links that you'll see in the YouTube description, or if you're on Facebook or Twitch, you'll have seen them, or if you're on Twitter, then I guess click on Josie's little link, and you'll see that's there. And I think there's only one thing left to say at this point, which is, of course, as always, lots of love and bye, 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 bye. It's a goodbye song. Bye, 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 for long. Bye, 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 bye. This is the end of the show. Bye, 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 bye. Now it's time to go. Bye, 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 bye. This is a goodbye song. Bye, 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 bye. Bye, 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 bye. The end of the show. Bye, 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 bye. Now it's time to go. Bye, bye.
Bye, Bears. Bye, Bears.
Bye, bye, Josie. I'm going to say goodbye, and I will. Yeah, bye, bye, everyone.
Bye.